that list.
Oh, I love The Usual Suspects. Yeah, that's a great one.
Such a great one.
The Usual Suspects. Yeah, is this the Kaiser Sose one?
Yep.
Yes. Who is Kaiser Sose?
So,
And there's a great quote from this one I really like. What is it? It's like the greatest trick the devil
greatest
did
trick
was
the devil ever pulled
yeah
was to make people think he doesn't exist.
yeah exactly yeah. No, that's a really good one. Yeah, these are good.
Yeah,
These are all old school ones. What about the new ones?
Anybody who hasn't seen it, we're not gonna spoil.
Yeah, don't ruin it
because
it's so crazy.
The mythos behind Kaiser Soze is like he's this Hungarian warlord who just burns everything to the ground, and so you have to find out like who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy? Yeah, that's cool. You know, I recently I only got into psycho thrillers later in life, and because I don't like horror films, like I don't like getting scared. I'm like,
yeah, it's different.
Yeah, there's at least like some thinking
thrillers
part
like that.
to it.
It's got that nice ramp up of like the tension, but it's not usually scary. There's not usually things jumping out at you, and
yeah, it's not just cheap jump scares and stuff.
Yeah, cheap jump scares are just I can't do that.
You know what I liked was did you ever see Hereditary?
The one with
it's the A24 film, Ari Aster. I think it's Ari Aster.
I think so.
This one with the girl that goes like
Toni Collette. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was the only reason I saw this film is because I had. Do you remember when MoviePass came out in like 2019, 2018, when you could watch like as many movies as you want for like $10? And I was like, oh, we got to get our money's worth. So me, and my girlfriend at the time, we would just go to the movies all the time, and we'd be like, okay, we've seen all the movies. I haven't seen this Hereditary film. Let's go check it out. And I watched it, and I was like, oh my fucking god, this is beautiful, but it's also like a psychological train wreck.
Oh, this is it is like traumatic. So if you have any sort of like if you have any sort of triggers, like this is not a good movie for you.
No, it's not, dude. No. Yeah. You know, because it starts out as a regular film. It starts out regularly. It's not scary, right? And then, like you said, shit starts happening.
And the husband is Gabriel Byrne. And I was like, no way. And I looked at it again. Yeah, I looked at it again with him and all of his makeup. I was like, oh my god, it is him.
Oh. Oh, wow. Damn. Yeah, I liked that, and I got hooked onto psycho thrillers once I saw Hereditary, so much that I was like, okay, cool. I wanted to see the next thing that Ari Aster, he's the director, he's part of A24, and he did Midsommar. And then I watched Midsommar.
Oh my god, yes.
right? Midsommar is... I was like, okay, I know what's happening here, right? Everything's cool, everything's gravy.
One. It was just like, oh my god.
Dude, the fucking bear at the end, dude. The bear costume, man, dude, it's too much.
Oh, don't give that away.
There's a bear. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a bear, and it's dramatic. Yeah,
but
I didn't like that one as good though. It wasn't as good as Hereditary.
The breathing flowers were a beautiful touch that. Like, if you didn't notice it the first time, it's just, wow. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss at the end, but there's other times where that pops in.
Right. Once you see it and you're like, oh, I know this is going to turn into this. Let me rewatch and see, like, what happens. Yeah.
I actually did watch it 2 days in a row because I watched it through once, and then I was like, I need to, like, look for all of the little signs and things like that. And I watched... somebody on YouTube who did like a super breakdown of like all the tropes and all of the hints and all these stuff like that, and then I went back and watched it the next day.
Do you have a favorite YouTuber that you like for like all the tropes and stuff? Do you have someone that you like?
This I think was actually a one-off.
Oh really?
I didn't know.
I like Screen Crush. Screen Crush is like one of my favorites. I don't know if anyone else. I recently got into this. I don't know. I started watching a lot of TV shows this year, and then I was like, oh. Then they have YouTube breakdowns, which are almost even better than the shows, because I love seeing all like the little things. But
I probably don't have one open here. I found out that one of my Firefox screens has 110 tabs open.
Oh god.
Like 40 of those are YouTube videos. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get to it.
I'll get it. You can put it on the watch list. Yeah. Oh man, that's too funny. What's up, Sensation? What's going on, dude?
Sensation.
Hello there.
Hello there.
How's
Yeah,
it
I was
going?
about to. We need like we need to have a competition of Obi-Wan Hello There's. I'm sure there is a national one somewhere, dude.
There's got to be.
There's gotta be.
I'll just go find you and McGregor.
Yeah, isn't he right next door for you, Sensation? Is he just right next door? Ewan McGregor?
He's a Scotsman, if that's what you mean.
It's like 3 hours north. It's fine.
Yeah, it's 3 hours north. It's okay. All right, let's see. Let me.
We're actually only about 40 minutes away.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. Sorry, yeah. So here, before I do things, yeah. Let's have you give like a little 1 minute, 2 minute TLDR about who you are, a little bit of your journey, and where you are right now, so that the audience knows and everything.
Yep. Okay. So my name is ObiWanPez. I stream at NSimplex Pachinko. There's many different reasons for that, but this is the big one for ObiWanPez. We discussed that a little bit earlier. So I am originally from a fairly small town in New Hampshire. My parents had me in Washington, D.C. We moved around a bit and eventually got up to the Northeast. I lived in a few different towns before we finally settled in like this one little tiny town of about 3,000 people. My school had 24 to 28 students in every grade.
Oh wow,
Um,
that's like smaller than some classrooms.
Yeah, K through 6.
Oh man. Okay.
And everybody had one classroom, with the exception of I think it was the year before my brother, like older than my brother, who's 2 years off. His name is Chabo, or UNH Chabo, depending on
Is that
what
his screen name or
platform
his real name?
Yeah, that is his screen name.
Okay.
He is a speedrunner slash. He was actually on the GDQ couch for Super Metroid recently.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
he's really cool. So we grew up in a two parent, two job household.
Pretty standard, but rare these days in the U.S.
In New Hampshire, and everything was pretty good. Just run of the mill, whatever. We both ended up going to the University of New Hampshire.
Nice. Is that in
Durham, New
Salem?
Hampshire.
Oh, it's in Durham. Okay.
And then he was in computer science. I was in math education, the secondary level.
Okay.
After graduating, my then fiance and I moved down to Maryland for her work. And I was like, I'm a teacher. I can get a job wherever.
Kids always need to be taught.
Yep. I ended up getting a job at a temp agency, so I am a registered Kelly girl.
Registered Kelly girl? What's a registered Kelly girl? Dude,
so Kelly Services is a temp agency that operated out of.
I'm looking up like Kelly girl.
Yeah. That operated out of like, I don't even remember it. It's like St. Louis or something like that.
Okay. Oh, Kelly Services. Okay, got it.
Then it just expanded to the entire nation, but originally they were typists.
Ah.
So if you needed to hire a typist or a then called calculator, you could hire a Kelly girl, and they would just have their own. Yep, they would have their own bags.
I didn't know about this.
Almost always had uniforms that were in, I believe, mint top and like forest green bottom.
Okay.
And they were extremely highly rated. So I got there and I was like, let's watch the orientation video. And so they did like a typing test where I'm like, well, crap, I type in
you do this?
I type in Dvorak.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I'm like, can I change the keyboard? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, cool.
Damn.
So I don't know, I got like 70 words a minute. It's not too bad, but
that's not too bad, no.
And they were talking about the history of Kelly services and all this, and I was like, I'm a Kelly girl. All
You're a
right.
Kelly girl. So at some point they probably opened the diversity to be like, we're taking men as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was
Yeah,
exclusive. I wonder if you could be a Kelly girl as a guy, like back in whatever this
No.
was, the 60s or 70s. No.
Or at the
Interesting.
very least, there wasn't a like demand for that kind of work.
Uh-huh.
Like it was almost exclusively we need temps, and
Sure.
so they are going to be women. And like
Mhm.
we
Because
look back
that's
on
what
that
the
and say,
social
okay,
dynamic
that's a little
was.
sketchy now.
Yeah, but that's what the dynamic was then, because like men had like full-time
typically
9-to-5s, and it's like, who can we just
Yeah.
temp put in here? Yeah.
Right. And so the agency would pay you for however many hours you're working,
Uh-huh.
and everybody be, generally speaking, happy about the amount of money they're making, the amount of hours they're working. The other thing that this allowed corporations to do is what?
Yeah, so someone says that you're a Violet Evergarden. I'm guessing this is also like a temp, like an anime probably typing person. Laz, let us know,
I
Laz.
don't know that
Jump
one.
on. I don't know that one either. Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's temp, so they probably didn't have to pay
I-
healthcare, right? They didn't have to pay benefits or something. This is
Right.
the advantage, right?
So-
You're basically
So
1099
like
on
we
everything.
would, yeah, we essentially would get benefits from Kelly if we're working full time.
Got you.
And if we're not working full time, then you get the standard like insurance rider that Kelly offers. So if you get hurt on the job, you're on their workman's comp, not the company's.
Sure. I can't believe I haven't heard about this thing. This is crazy. Like
Yeah.
like what?
I bet they have a local office too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna find a job, dude. I want a job now. All right, keep going. You're good.
So the other thing that it afforded corporations to do was to hire a Kelly temp and have them on for a trial period and
Okay.
decide whether they wanted to hire them full time.
For sure.
And so this was the position I was in when I worked for.
What up, Zach? Good to see you, dude.
Sure, why not? I worked for Magellan Health Services, which
Okay.
was an insurance credentialer. So this is going to be terribly boring for about 99% of everybody. But essentially what they do is they look at a profile of a particular provider. In this case, behavioral health services, so psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, etc., and said like, what insurance company are they going to work for?
Uh-huh.
And then what are the requirements in each of those states for that company? For
Which is
each of those
changing. It's
professional
crazy.
levels. Yes.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So we were the professionals who would look up all that information and have it fairly readily available.
Gotcha.
And I was hired originally just as a temp to fill stuff in, do data entry, and that's fine. It was.
And this is
it
after
was,
teaching, or this was before teaching?
This was when we first moved down there ish.
Okay.
So I decided to work for Magellan Health. They offered me a position for bachelor's level, data entry, which was at the time 2008, something like that. It was about 36.
It was a hard time to get a job in 2008. I'll tell you that. Financial crash and everything. I remember being like, good thing I'm going to college right now and I'm not getting out of college. 'Cause that would be a bad time to get out of college in 2008.
I graduated in 2005, so this.
Ooh.
Okay. So there was a little bit between then, but
Sure.
it's not important. But yeah, I started working for Magellan in 07. Yeah.
Okay.
07. And it was, it was pretty good. We got steady pay. And
You had a job.
Like
That's
my
great.
spouse had the breadwinning job by far.
Oh,
So
what
it was
did your wife do?
She's a computer programmer. Still
Oh,
is.
nice. Oh, that's cool.
And yep, and been happy in where she's working and all the fun people that she's meeting and stuff like that. So
Nice.
good times.
And then fast forward, so you work at Magellan Health for a bit, and then how do we get here to 2024?
So I started working in 2007 at not only Magellan Health, but also at my community college,
Okay.
which was
Nice.
local to that particular area.
Sure.
Um,
Oh, on this video. 1 sec. Oh yeah, sorry, your video cut out for a sec. So sorry, you were working
yep,
at the community college, and then what?
yep, and also started working on my master's.
Oh, nice. Okay. And what was your master's in? What did you work on your
Applied
master's
in
for?
computational mathematics at Johns Hopkins University.
Oh wow, that's a
So I'm
cool.
a,
That's a very cool college. Oh, let's see.
oh, I'm here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep going. Yeah, Discord sometimes gets mean about things.
Yeah, so it's the applied physics lab that is attached to Johns Hopkins University um, in Laurel, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
They have a particular campus, and the program that actually my spouse and I both did was for professionals.
Okay.
So it was geared toward people who have been doing 9 to 5 all day.
Mm-hmm.
They get out and they can take classes at like 4 to 7 or
Ah,
7 to 10.
like night school.
Yeah, essentially.
Nice. Okay.
So generally speaking, people would take either 1 or 2 classes a semester. She got away with doing 3 because her work was paying for it. So they were
Oh,
just
okay.
like,
So
yes, absolutely, you
we
can
will
go
take
take
your
that.
cash. Like, please
Yeah.
write the checks.
And then uh,
You're good. Keep going.
um, yeah, so I got applied in computational mathematics. She got computer science, which was a little bit different from her bachelor's was in mathematics and theater
Okay.
with a minor in psychology.
What? There's a lot of different disciplines happening here. I mean, they are
Yeah,
kind of
what
all
happened?
related-ish, right? You do need psychology for theater, and I'd argue that you also need psychology for like mathematics. But okay, wow, there's a
And they
lot
were
there.
like, yeah, only majors can take that. And she said, okay, fine, I'm going to be a major then.
I'm gonna do the full thing then. Nice.
Yeah, so she wanted to take a stagecraft class, and they were like, no,
Ah,
only majors can take that. And then, hang on 1 sec.
you're good. You're good. I had a similar thing when I wanted to do what was it? I wanted to do music classes in college, but then they said they were only available to majors, and I was like, oh
Yep.
man. It's I hate it when they do that. When they say like, "Oh, this is only for the major people." And I say, "Okay, well, I could have came in as this major and then taken physics as a side thing cuz physics doesn't
Yep.
require to be majors. They're desperate. Like, we will take anybody in our degree program. Like, please come join us. We have cookies."
Yep. We had, I think, like 16 in ours, so it was really well
Oh wow.
populated.
Oh, that's good.
I was actually originally going to be a physics major at the University of New Hampshire, and
Ah.
after my first year, we were all sitting in a room doing a project together. It was pretty much like all of the physics majors together on one team. There were about 6 of us in this one class, and somebody said like, we're all just going to be teachers, right? And then
It's
like
like, you know, we're just all gonna be teachers.
everybody starts laughing, and I was like, huh. So that was actually probably the moment where I was kind of like, hey, let's think about this
Uh huh. Like,
and
what's the
actually
trajectory? What's the
decided.
long term plan of
Yeah,
this?
yeah. So I that's when I decided to switch from physics to math education.
Good. Yeah. It's more related to like what you want to end up doing, and probably looks better, I guess, if you're trying to get into teaching, to be like, hey, I specifically have like an education degree. You
I
know.
wasn't trying to get into teaching. I was trying to get into astrophysics.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I should have probably started with that.
I should have assumed it from the Obi-Wan. I should have been like, yeah, of course, he wants to learn about the galaxy and the stars. You know.
Yep. So my dad, who is actually in town this week,
Oh, okay.
my parents are in town. My dad got me a copy of. Come on, it's got to be here.
My dad tried to
got me
get
a
me into
copy.
astronomy as well. My dad was like, "Hey, you should look into this rocket stuff and like the stars and blah blah blah." And I took one astronomy class in undergrad and it was absolutely terrible. Had the worst teacher. This is why it's so important to have good teachers for your classes. And I just got so turned off by it that I never wanted to do it again. I didn't take a single astronomy class after that. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. So I got Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time.
Yes.
It was like the 25th anniversary edition.
Nice.
And he gave that to me for my 17th birthday because I was so into astronomy and astrophysics.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. This is a really
gold bound one.
It's actually it I like the gold one. It's a little math heavy, I would say. There definitely is.
It's pretty dense. Yeah.
It's pretty dense. There's an easier version of it, right? So there's a book called A Briefer History of Time.
Oh.
Which this one I think was also written by Stephen Hawking, but so this is the one I usually give to students if I say that they're it's a rewrite of A Brief History of Time, but it makes it more accessible to the general public. So this is more like pop size, what it is for sure. But this is what I tell students if they ever want to get into black hole whatever type stuff. If you start trying to read A Brief History of Time, it's too dense. You're gonna be confused. But A Briefer History of Time is a nice introduction to it.
At 17, I was into it. 100%.
That's crazy. I mean, that's awesome. But
well, that's the thing is I'd been watching Nova on PBS.
Ah, yes, dude. PBS Nova.
Since I was like 5.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
And then, catching up with all the like Brian Greene when he came out with all of his stuff in the 90s about like string theory and doing all these. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He did his book. He did a whole bunch of stuff on string theory, and I was kind of like, well, this is really cool. And then I got into further cosmology and started learning about all the sorts of stuff that was out there. And then my dad was like, absolutely, we're getting this book for you.
Yeah, nice.
He also got us tickets to the Wang Center in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
For a night with Stephen Hawking.
Oh, so he had like a stand up I guess he can't do stand up comedy, but
hey, Jesus.
What did he do? What was the night of Stephen Hawking? He had a lecture there.
So he had a lecture that was basically like, here's what we understand about like anybody who's read A Brief History of Time. Here's like the updated version. And so he did a lecture that was all about that. And then at the end, he had a question and answer session where somebody would stand up and ask a question, and he would then take usually 3 to 5 minutes to formulate an answer.
Sure.
Because he's doing all the eye tracking stuff to.
Yeah, some of the kids probably don't know who this is, but this is a very famous physicist, guys. Yeah, I know he looks kind of interesting. There's a really good movie that came out about him. What was it called?
Yep, Eddie Redmayne was the actor who played him. I don't remember what it actually was called.
Theory of Everything was the one. Yeah. This is the new one that came out. Yeah, The Theory of Everything. It's pretty good. But yeah, he was
Eddie Redmayne played him. And Stephen Hawking had ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a muscular degenerative disease. It's like, it's usually fatal within like 20 years or something like that. And he was diagnosed in his 20s and lived until, 70-something?
Yeah.
Almost 80.
Yeah, luckily medical technology has come up, a lot, right? These things don't completely debilitate you anymore.
But that's the other thing is people like Lou Gehrig, for example, who would get this. Like his entire life was in his physical body, right? Like he was a
baseball player, right?
Yeah, he was a baseball player. He played sports. So like when your body, which you have been using your entire life as your professional vehicle essentially becomes debilitated and
your identity
no longer able to do
it's just gone.
It's your identity. It's just gone. Whereas Stephen Hawking is somebody who lives his entire life or lived his entire life pretty much in his head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he lost his body, but he still has his mind, which is brilliant.
Right.
Which must be also kind of maddening.
Also true. In the 70s, I think he was doing a bunch of lectures, and he would have grad students who would like interpret for him. And
Okay.
so he'd be able to say something, but it's kind of like a bunch of moans and grunts. But
Ah.
just because his tongue doesn't work the same way it
Right.
used to, or like everybody else's. And so he would just kind of mumble something, and the grad student would say, right, so Dr. Hawking is saying this. And
No
like they've
way.
gone over the script, right? The two of them have gone over the script. So they know what he should be saying.
Sure.
And if he needed to correct them, he would.
He'd be like, he's like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like they've worked out a system. It wasn't
oh my,
perfect, but it
that's
was
crazy. They
better
created
than
like
nothing.
their own little language, I guess.
Yep. And then eventually
brilliant.
he got the computer in 1980 something.
Okay. Yeah.
Which then talked for him, which was still really tough because he had a hand thing, and so he'd basically do not Morse code, but like he would do a series of short and long holds in order to move to different menus,
Gotcha.
and then select the one word that he wanted from
Yeah, it's cool. There's this article here, I guess, about how like Intel did it, right?
time to answer anything, but he would be able to come up with an answer.
Interesting. Wow.
It was about 1998 when Time Magazine came out with the discovery. I can't remember who did it. um,
Yeah.
that dark energy was actually starting to push the universe apart faster. So it's accelerating universal expansion. Contrary to our previous understanding and Einstein's prediction, which was
Sure.
that the cosmological constant was going to either cause permanent expansion, but we're going to slow down because there's gravity still holding everything, or it's
The
going
heat
to
death.
reach like a particular steady state and it's just going to hold there, or like
Right.
be asymptotic to a certain size.
Sure.
So it turned out that that's completely wrong.
Ah!
So the
Get the cosmological constant.
part faster and faster and faster. That's
Okay.
where we are currently.
That's
we're not
this idea, I
exactly
guess,
sure
right? That
100%.
it's accelerating expansion, I guess is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep, and it's going to continue to accelerate. Theoretically, not fast enough to cause what's called a big rip, where like fabric of space-time would devolve itself.
That would be
just
bad.
as energy.
That'd be really bad.
Yeah. Of course, it probably wouldn't happen for several hundred trillion years anyway, but whatever.
Okay. That's good.
But yeah, there's also a really good Melody Sheep on YouTube. Sets a bunch of lectures to auto-tune.
Oh.
I keep joking that this is the only acceptable use of auto-tune.
Oh my God, they have Billy Mays, dude. What? Excuse me. Oh, I'm gonna have to wait for this to load, dude. But what? What's the auto tune?
I would
for
say
it?
this
What's
is
it do?
pretty. Turns speech into song.
Oh.
And so there's a bunch.
Oh, I know what this one is. Yes. Okay, I know what this is. Oh my God, this is too funny. Yes.
Do the same thing. So they also did a like what's the history of the universe. I think it's like an hour long or something ridiculous like that. And it takes once every 5 seconds,
Yeah.
the speed at which they're counting time doubles.
Oh no.
And so it's exponential expansion throughout the entire video. It is beautiful.
Oh man. Time lapse of the future, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah. I have watched it an unhealthy amount of times.
You have watched this a lot of times, Sensation, really?
An unhealthy amount.
Yeah,
unhealthy
if you look
amount
at
of
the
times.
number of subscribers they have and the number of views they have, like
that's insane.
It almost directly correlates to like multiplying.
Yeah, dude. What? It has
Everybody's watched it at least
3
20
million
times,
subs, but yeah, 102 million. Oh God.
But yeah, it is amazing.
It's just
And like I got halfway through the video and I was like, oh, we're about done. No.
Oh wow.
No. I also have the music from the first like 2 minutes or whatever as its own. Over and like made it its own standalone.
Oh, you ripped the audio from it and just had it go over and over again.
I didn't, but I
Discord.
Of our, the music we're using for the next video. It is beautiful. You really ought to check it out sometime. So
I'm gonna watch this. This is really cool. Here, I'll post this link. This is actually pretty cool. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool.
And when the beat drops.
When the beat drops, the beat drops. And it's only a 30-minute film, 30-minute YouTube, so I feel like I could watch this. It wouldn't be that bad.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I'm thinking of somewhere like this is a commitment. Like we're gonna have to sit down and like strap yourself in, guys, because we're going on a ride. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
cool.
We went off on several tangents.
Yeah, we went on. No, that's cool, and that's the whole point of this podcast. It's totally cool. It's free forming, whatnot. We will get to the student questions. So you wanted to do physics. You went to what is it? Night school, which again is a great thing. Math education, and then after that,
undergrad, and then graduate school was night school for applied math.
Nice.
So we did a.
Zach says they're secants, not tangents. Zach is saying they're secants, not tangents.
It's true. We are going through other topics.
We are going. It's secants, yeah. So you got your master's degree, and then what?
So I applied to 2 positions. One was a instructor, basic level, community college at the same community college where I was teaching.
Okay.
And the other was, and actually that was an interim position because one of our colleagues was receiving cancer treatment during the semester, so he was going to be out.
So it's kind of more like a lecturer role or something, right? Or what do they call it? Like adjunct professor?
It was going to be a full. I was an adjunct.
Gotcha.
And I was going for a interim instructor. So you are expected to do everything that the instructors do.
Oh.
Which is not just teach, also like join a committee and do all sorts of other stuff. But this was in January. So like, you've only got a half a year, and then maybe they'll look for another position.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I applied for the interim instructor position, and I applied for a position at Magellan in the fraud detection department.
Ooh, okay.
I did both interviews, and I passed both interviews, and I was waiting to hear back from the community college when I did the interview with Magellan, and the lady was like, "I want to hire you right now."
She's like, "Sign the paper right here."
Yeah. So both jobs were going for the same $50,000 a year.
Okay.
As like entry level masters, and this lady said, you have. I took a class in machine learning.
Okay.
And so she was like, you understand neural networks, and that is going to be a big thing for like the next 10 years.
Oh yeah.
We're pushing to build like, essentially miniature AI to determine whether or not something is a potential threat.
Gotcha.
And whether somebody has, committed fraud.
Right.
And so I recognize that this is an extremely important and valuable position. They're
what year is this in, by the way? Sorry. What year is this?
2000. This is the end of 2010.
Oh, so this is super ahead
November,
of the game,
December.
Man. Yeah, wow. This person saw like 20 years into the future. Man. Because I feel like AI and neural networks have only really blown up like in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she was like the head of the department, of the whole fraud detection department.
Oh wow!
And so like there's a lot of internal investigation that needs to be done, no matter what tools you're using. But she saw that neural networks was going to be the next huge
big thing.
I think they had started utilizing rudimentary neural networks with a couple of their people who understood the science behind it. But
Sure.
and neural networks, to be fair, have been around since like the beginning of computers.
I agree. Yeah.
Um, they, John von Neumann and all these other scientists in the field created them back in the 60s and 70s before computers really got off the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah, von Neumann. Okay, I remember this guy. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
there's some
It's
really
it's
cool
only in the
stuff.
last 2 or 3 years that VCs and I feel like all the buzzwords have come around, and now everything just gets slapped, being like, "This is AI. Give us cash," and people are like, "Yeah, do it, do it." Oh man, von Neumann. That's cool, dude.
There we go.
Pretty good. Okay.
Yep. Everybody's like, it's AI. Give us money.
Yeah, it's AI. Give us cash.
So yeah, I told her that I would like to wait for this other position to know
The
whether or
professor
not I
thing.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, I'm gonna need an answer by the end of the week.
Wow.
'Cause otherwise we're
We're
gonna
going with
need to
someone
hire
else.
somebody.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, well.
You said
So I
peace.
stayed in. Yep, I stayed in my position at the college, or I stayed in my position at Magellan. It was sometime that month. I can't remember. I think it was before the interview that I got fed up with doing a whole bunch of stuff by hand, which was taking
Yeah.
me like 2 hours. And so I was like, and I shortened the 2 hour working process to 5 minutes.
How'd you do that? Sorry, how did you shorten it from 2 hours to 5 minutes?
So essentially, I had two windows open, and I was
okay.
taking the information from one and pasting it in the other. But no matter how fast you type, it's still going to take a long time to
Yeah,
do it.
data entry still takes
And it
time, unless
was,
you can find an
yep,
algorithm for it. Right.
yep. And it was like you have to go into the provider's file,
Uh-huh.
take down every company in which they work, and then go into each company individually
Oh, God.
and look at all the tax affiliations that they have.
This sounds like
And
something
then
for a
make sure that
SQL
all of
server.
that stuff, yeah,
You
all of
need a
that
SQL
stuff is
server and
on
an
the,
API.
yep. And then get all that information over to the provider's file.
Gotcha.
And I was like, this is stupid. Let's just automate this because
Yeah,
I
this is
don't need
dumb.
to be I don't need to be doing this myself.
Yeah, we could pay. At
And
this point,
so,
like, you would just pay someone in the Philippines on Upwork to just do it. I'd just be like, hey, man,
pretty
here's
much.
like $3 an hour, just
So
fucking manual data entry.
yeah, I worked my 30 hours for the week because that was my standard shift.
Sure.
And told my boss, look, my numbers are down this week, but don't worry about it. She's like,
big things coming.
okay.
Yeah.
So I ran it all day Friday, and debugged whatever little things that I needed to. And so I did like a pretty decent amount of work in the 6 hours that I was there. And then on Monday I said, I'm running it all day. And she said,
Oh, nice.
I don't know what you're doing. And
It's like, don't worry about it.
so I
It's
was
gonna
like, all
work.
right. So I ran it all day Monday, and on Tuesday she comes over with like a big stack of papers, and she's just like, "Bam! What did you do?"
Dude, it's like for Office Space, right? Where he comes up with all the TPS reports. Like, here you go, just need this massive stack.
Yeah. So what she was not quite understanding, and I just smiled because I knew exactly what had happened.
Yeah, you're like,
Right?
I
Like
use science.
so what they're looking at is like engagement numbers, essentially.
Sure.
Where you're like, I'm putting in this information, so I'm going to check that off the box. And then I'm putting in this information, I'm checking that off the box. And so I just went into like the server where we do our scorecards.
Yeah.
And I was just like, check, 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 because the computer was doing it over here. So I'm just going to go over onto the browser and check off all the things that the computer's already taken care of.
Gotcha.
And so I got through like, I don't know, 30 provider files before lunch.
Which would have usually taken you how much time?
I would have been lucky to get done with 4 during the
during like the entire day or something.
it accelerated the job flow very nicely.
Oh, nice. And then,
And
so here's
yeah,
here's always the question though.
I
Did you
showed her exactly what I did,
right?
and I ran it. I just said, okay, watch this, and I touched the macro and let it go, and it like throws an error, so I correct it in real time, and then it just
Yeah.
runs the rest of it. And I said, so this is what's happening, and I'm explaining it as it's flipping from screen to screen to screen to
Yep.
screen.
Yep.
And okay, here's it's copying everything, it's writing it back into the database somewhere, and then if we get to the end of it, she's just like, you could do that. I'm like, yes.
Now give me a raise, because see, this is also the problem in making things more efficient, right? Now it's like you're like, oh man.
And this project was a multi-million-dollar project
Yeah.
that had stalled like a year before.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was they were working with National Imaging Associates, which is the like the
MRIs, CAT scans, all that
group of
stuff.
people. Yeah, all the
Gotcha.
radiologists in the entire country
Yep.
are hooked through the NIA.
Okay.
And Magellan was contracted to do the credentialing for all of the radiologists, and they gave it to like 2 people. And when I got there, they put me on that project, and then they took me off of it, and they put me on that project, and they took me off of it to do something else because there was a contract that needed more attention.
Sure.
Okay, fair. And by the time they got me onto it and said, you are now going to be the lead on this project and probably the only person,
The one and only.
it's like a year and a half into my 3-year stint there.
Sure.
And they're just like, you're going to be in charge of this. And I'm like, all right, fine. So they give me a person and they take him away, and I'm the only person for a long time. And this is like within the final 6 months of me being there is when I figured this out to do this.
Be like
macro.
super efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, I called over this guy. I'm like, can you just teach me the idea behind Visual Basic, because I know how to program.
Yeah.
Right. I've done C. I've done editing for C++, so not creating it myself, but whatever.
Sure. But you can read the code.
Yeah, I wrote programs in the TI.
Yeah, TI Basic.
Input language.
TI Calc Basic. I love it.
I programmed in BASIC back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, and I'm just like, just teach me what is Visual Basic supposed to be doing, and what are the specifics for this particular language.
Exactly.
And he sat down with me for like, I don't know, 3 hours, and we just knocked it out.
Just crash coursed it for you.
And I was like, thanks. And he went away, and then I'd yell over the cubes like, hey, how do you do this? And he'd yell back the answer, and that was it.
Nice. Zach is saying TI-86 Mario, and I'm thinking about, did you ever play like Phoenix on the TI-83?
I did not have.
No,
those.
yeah. Zach knows
I had
about
the
this
Mario one, or the Mario knockoff.
Yeah. What was it? Was it Mario TI-86? He's talking about the Yes, there was Super Mario on the TI-86 as well.
Only I had what looked like a little alien or something like that running around. I don't know what it was. It was
I know what you're talking about. It's interesting you did this all in Visual Basic, because I did a similar thing in high school. I learned how to use VBA, so Visual Basic for Applications. And I wrote a bunch of VBA code to do stuff between Excel spreadsheets, and it was super cool. I was like, oh man, this makes life so much easier if you can just script, things.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, you learned that, and so the last 6 months you developed this awesome stuff and whatnot. Did they keep you on after this? Because like, hey man, you just revolutionized this thing.
So like, I mean, they were gonna keep me on anyway. It wasn't like they were gonna get rid of me. They saw that I was probably being underutilized anyway.
Yeah, you should underpaid too, man. They should give you a raise, dude. You just did the work of like 10 people.
So again, like in 30 hours, I've just completed, a potential ridiculous future worth of work.
Yeah.
And so I just ran it the entire rest of the 6 months that I was there. They did give me, I think, a $1,500 bonus.
Oh, that's nice.
But I mean, it's a one-time thing, but at the same time, like, that was perfectly fine. I didn't care about the money. Because,
did they at least get you a pizza party? Corporate's always just giving out pizza parties, dude. They're like, is morale down? Give them a pizza party.
I mean, when I left, they gave me something. It was just like a small present, but nonetheless, I'm sure they gave it to everybody else too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I didn't care about the money. It was, it was just a matter of like, this is this is kind of worth my time just to mess around and figure out stuff.
Yeah, you like solving puzzles. I think we'll get into this. You talk about puzzles, but yeah. So it's like solving the puzzles enjoyable. Doing the manual data entry is not, but it's cool that you found a way to then make it fun, and in the process, save the company probably a ton of money.
Yeah. So within after I left, the guy who helped me out with the Visual Basic was named the director of this particular project.
Sure.
And again, the same sort of thing happened, and he just kept running my script because of course he is.
Yeah, steal my work, dog.
No. This is perfectly fine. I was like, I gave it to him.
You were being paid also to like write the script, so like it is kind of their company. It's
so
their problem.
I don't care, whatever. And I gave it to everybody on the floor, and I was like, if you can use this, feel free to edit and do whatever you need to. And most of them are like, I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this voodoo magic is.
So this guy ended up working with it for another 6 months to a year, and then they did some sort of background change to the server, and it didn't work.
Oh no, yeah. Then things start. This is the only problem with coding things at this level. So I used to do a lot with. Do you know what AutoIt is? The language AutoIt?
I don't think so.
Okay, so AutoIt is it's a basic type. It's like BASIC, but the very cool thing about AutoIt is it's great for anything that you can do as a human with a computer. You can code AutoIt to do. So for instance, you can have it look for pixels. You can have it look for certain things on your screen, and then you can have it manually move the mouse somewhere. You can have it manually send keystrokes. So anything like if you have a manual task you have to do, there's no API for it. There's no whatever way to do it with Visual Basic. You can 100% you can code it with AutoIt. It's possible. It's clunky. And it's possible. And also the other problem is the second anything changes. So for instance, I wrote AutoIt code back I did it during grad school. I wrote AutoIt code to control Facebook accounts and to control Instagram accounts to basically be able to reach out to people and advertise stuff, but as if it was a manual person. The second a website would change their layout, or Chrome would update and change where the pixels were, like everything breaks, and you're like, oh shit, because now it doesn't see that button anymore. That's it. It's just like, nope. So yeah, I empathize with that a lot. Yeah. Oh, man.
So that was a good time overall. I mean, like the company itself, it's a company. Like,
it's corporate.
Yeah, like the CEO during the time was a decent guy, and he come to our office specifically. Their headquarters were in Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
And so like it's basically a corporate town. Like the entire town is just all corporations.
Oh, but it's all different corporations at least. It's not like Kaiser Permanente, right? Where everything is Kaiser Permanente, and you spend Kaiser bucks, and you go to the Kaiser Permanente healthcare place.
No. But I think it's kind of like one gigantic corporate park.
Okay.
Like the commercial section of town is just one gigantic corporate park.
Sure.
And then like they've got all of the insurance companies and all of the credentialing companies in the same place. And so like that was the big point of that particular town. But he would always come over to Maryland and be like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you all because you're working on this project and this project and this project and this particular section of like the workflow process. And we want to discuss like how can things be better. And he was good, right? He went through and tried to like help us, not just like, you guys suck. We need to cut job.
No.
There was some talk, like some of the people in Missouri were pissed off because like, I don't know, their jobs.
I feel like everyone in Missouri is pissed off, dude. The state's called Misery, dude. It's misery.
Oh man. But yeah, he was always trying to. There was a rumor that was always going around that like our office was going to close, and he came over and he was like, "No, like you people are probably like making the most money out of everybody in the entire corporation. Like, I mean, not, you know what I mean, making the most money for the
He's
corporation."
like, y'all deserve a pizza party, dude. The company made record profits. Here you go. We want to do something special for you guys. Pizza party.
Our cost of living was also significantly higher, so it was a little Like, I
Yeah.
can understand where some people might be like, well, obviously you should ship all the jobs to Missouri, where
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
cost of
Missouri's
living's
cheap.
lower.
Have you ever driven through Missouri?
No.
I had to do it once. I had to drive my
No offense
girlfriend's.
to Missouri, but like,
Yeah, no, you don't want to spend much time in Missouri. I remember driving through it, and I'm like, I've never seen so many billboards talking about how like abortion is wrong or something. Like they go heavy on the religious billboards. I was like, I have not
Yep.
seen this before. It's pretty nuts.
yeah, my aunt lived in North Dakota and Montana for a long time,
Yeah.
and like not the Rocky Mountain part of Montana, the flat part. And like
Oh, okay.
literally you could see as far as you could in either direction. It is 100% flat.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, it's like perfect
the
flatness.
only
Perfect level.
things that were the only things that were around that were breaking that like 100% horizon going
Yeah.
across were trees and crops. Like that was it.
Did they ever have cow patty bingo? Do you know what cow patty bingo is? Have you seen this before?
I know what cow patty bingo is because I grew up in New Hampshire.
Ah, yeah, they have this thing right where they put this cow and you bet on, I guess, what number it's gonna like take a shit in or something, right?
Yep.
Cow patty bingo, dude. That's what I just think of
Yeah,
when I
it
think of
was-
like
it was-
super flat, nothing else to do. I'm like cow patty bingo, dude.
Yep. Nothing else to do. We had a greased pig contest where like
Ooh.
they released like 10 piglets that had literally Crisco just all over them. Now
Oh my
these are
God.
piglets, mind you, not the full size ones.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they had a bunch of like 6 to 8-year-olds running around in this area trying to catch them. And if you caught one, it was yours.
Like you got to eat it.
Well, that's your choice.
That's your choice.
What you do with your pig is your business. But like, but yeah, one of my
My
friends
pig, my
actually
choice.
did catch one. I was like, so what did you do? And she's like, it's living in my yard. Like,
Aw,
of
that's
course.
nice of it.
So it became their like pet, and I'm sure eventually it became bacon or something. But
Yeah, in Los Angeles, they have them as pets. Like they will literally walk these things around, dude. I've seen it. I've seen people like walk around their fucking pet pig, dude. And they like they paint their nails and everything too, man. Los Angeles is strange, dude. Or, dude, the weirdest one I've seen is people have opossums for pets.
oh no,
Like they will bring these things to Gary the trash
No.
cat. Yeah, no, literally one of I don't. She's not a friend, but like friend of a friend. Yeah, and this chick will literally bring her fucking possum to like the restaurant. I'm like, excuse me, that's a trash. It's a trash cat.
that is a wild animal. You do not do that.
Yeah, dude. What? Yeah.
Pigs are domesticated. You know, they at least they know that they have a place near humans.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to. I'll find a picture at some point. There's a lot of weird stuff this girl does, but yeah,
One
she
of
has.
one of my classmates in elementary school actually was the daughter of the animal control officer in town, and so like she would always have raccoons and possums and squirrels and weird birds and stuff like that that were always in their house. She said she was getting rabies shots like all the time.
Oh yeah, dude. What? Like, it's like I always. Yeah, they think they look cute, but I'm like, don't do it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't like she was getting the preventative rabies shots. It wasn't like the you have rabies, now we need to treat you. So
Yeah.
they would actually give vaccines to that family.
Oh my God.
So all four of them got rabies vaccines like once a year or something like that.
Oh, this is my friend. I'm gonna show it. I'm just gonna show it anyways. It's a little weird, but yeah, she has this. She has a pet possum. This chick just has a pet possum that she just walks around with. I think she has a pet pig. I guess yeah as well. I don't know. She's one of these LA girls for sure. Like, let me take sexy photos of me with my trash cat. Oh
That
man,
is a whole rear end.
that is for sure. Okay, cool. I forgot where we got the topic of trash cats. And stuff. Yeah, let's do some of the student questions.
Yeah, let's refocus.
Let's refocus. Okay, cool. Here we go. Let's do some of the questions that the students have asked. I want to go in like a certain order of like who asked first. Equity asked a bunch. Where was? Here, let me go. Here we go. Lightning Anim asks, what was your favorite novel and how has it changed your view on life? Oh, do you have it ready? Oh yeah, because you
So
saw some of the questions beforehand.
yeah, I went in and I looked at the questions because I just wanted to be at least somewhat prepared
No,
if
that's
there
good. No,
was.
that's awesome. I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, for sure.
So Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Nice. Okay. It's a solid one.
The original, I did not read until my freshman year of college, despite the fact that I had almost this exact same book in a leather-bound version that my uncle gave me for my 13th birthday.
Oh, nice. Okay. It's a good book.
Um,
What's the answer to life? What's the answer to life?
42.
42. It's a good meme. Good meme.
And that is my going to be my age this year, so I'm gonna have
Oh,
a
wow.
birthday stream, I think, where we probably read some
When
pages in
is your
here and
birthday? What day is your birthday on?
late September. So I think
Okay.
the 27th is going to be the official
Oh, nice.
birthday stream, but you know,
I'll
I
have to
don't
stop by.
generally
That's
speaking
dope.
give up my actual birthday.
It's okay. It's okay. Late September, we'll say. We'll say it's late September.
Yep. So Douglas Adams, I did not find out. Go back. I had found the audio files of the first two Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio shows
Uh-huh.
hidden on the drive of a computer that was at my work at UNH.
Ah. Oh, very cool.
And at that time, you could actually tunnel to any computer you want, find the shared files, and just download them.
Yes, yes. Dude, I remember we had this in our high school. Like, someone would, like, find one of the school computers and just dump, like, their entire movie and, like, music collection on a shared drive, and then everyone else knew where it was. Yeah.
Yep. So all of the audio files for the first two Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxies were in there. So
That's awesome.
Hitchhiker's Guide and Restaurant at the End of the Universe. And I just listened to them obsessively for 3 months. I think was the length of time that I had that work-study job.
Nice.
I got really intimidated by like people in charge, and so I actually like they were like, "Hey, can you come in and talk about like the things you've done this semester in terms of like, you know, whatever else?" And I just like froze and shut down and did not go in. And so they were like, "All right, well, I guess he's not working here anymore."
He's like, no, dude.
So it was kind of embarrassing. You know, maybe a lesson to all you out there, like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's okay. Learn from the mistakes.
So I found the original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book in our bookstore,
Nice.
and I just bought it, and I plowed through the entire thing, and I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant, because it's
Yeah.
even better than the audio files were, like than the radio show was. And
Yeah.
you can make an argument that the radio show is better. That's perfectly fine.
It's
They
okay.
are different things, and this is super important. So
Oh, I see. It was a franchise. I see. So, like, there's a book, and then there was... Okay, got you. A radio comedy.
So the way that Douglas wrote all of these things was that he wrote them for the medium.
Oh, I see. Wow. Okay.
Intentionally to be a radio show.
He wrote it
He
to be a
wrote the
radio show.
book very intentionally to be a book, and recognized that there had to be differences between the two.
Gotcha.
And when he worked on the both the film and the TV series, again, he recognized that these are very different things, and they have to be done correctly for those media.
Dude,
And he discusses all of this in all sorts of like ancillary shows and things like that.
Sure.
And another thing, technically it doesn't belong, but that's a different story. So this is the exact copy that I bought at the mall in Newington, New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
The I don't know, like week or something that I finished the first one.
Oh, very cool.
I was like, I need to buy it. So
Yeah.
I bought all the rest of them, and it was about the same time that I discovered that Douglas Adams had passed away about 10 months earlier.
Oh, no. Did you read all 6 of them? So you read, like, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, Mostly Harmless? Oh, wow.
So all through Mostly Harmless, I have read, and then I've listened to the audiobook version of Owen Colfer's and another thing,
And
which
another thing. Okay, I see. Which
is
obviously
decent
isn't
in
him.
its
Yeah.
own right,
hmm
but it doesn't quite belong. And
It's like The
if you
Godfather Part 3. We're just like, this one should not be part of The Godfather, you know?
maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
And there is a second one that I want to actually plug because it is
Yep.
not out in the U.S. yet,
Okay.
but
What is it?
you can pre-order it.
Ooh.
Adrian Tchaikovsky. It's called Alien Clay.
Alien Clay. It's a signed copy. You have a signed copy, too.
So I moved to the UK,
Yep.
and we didn't even go over that.
Yeah.
I moved to the UK in April, and like
Okay.
the first thing we did when we moved here was we went just downtown to go see stuff, and we
Yep.
went to the bookstore, and in the bookstore were just all the local authors,
Sure.
and by local, within about 50 miles. It's Yorkshire, right?
This is Yorkshire, yep.
And Adrian Tchaikovsky wrote Children of Time, which is a book all about
Yes. Okay.
yeah, it's an evolving virus that helps evolve other creatures on a particular planet in order to uplift a particular race of what is supposed to be monkeys and turn them into like subservient helpers of humans in
Okay.
order to then bring the eventually the AI will turn the ship back on and unfreeze the entire crew, who is still in suspended animation and all
Gotcha.
that. Something goes wrong,
Uh-oh.
and
There's always something that goes wrong, dude. That's the psycho thriller, dude. Something goes wrong.
and there is one human left over on this particular ship. Life support is failing, so she puts herself on the freezer again and just
Okay.
hopes that all the monkeys made it. Long story short, no, they didn't. It was
Uh-oh.
spiders.
Spiders!
The spiders who were also on the ship end up getting the virus because they're like the next best race, essentially, on the ship that actually survived. And then there's a niche for them to grow, and so they evolve.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. I'm only about halfway through, 2/3. But
It looks
Alien
like
Clay,
it's 400
was,
pages. Yeah, right? 400
yep,
pages is what it looks like.
Alien
Yep.
Clay was his newest book at the time.
Yep.
It is all about a prison planet, which is governed by a group called the Mandate.
Okay.
They are very much based on the same people we were talking about earlier with the giant billboards on the side of the road.
Oh, I see. Yes. The religious
So
folk.
they're like, yeah, absolutely religious fanaticism. It's our way or you die. Like it's not even our way or the highway. It's our way or you die.
Oh no, that's very authoritarian. That's
So
very George Orwell almost.
yes, 100%. So the Mandate decides that they're going to take all of the dissidents and ship them off to one of 3 planets. This one takes place on, I forget what the designation is. It's an actual planet that's out, or star system that's out there. It maybe has an exoplanet.
Okay.
They have nicknamed it Kiln
Kiln.
because it is extremely hot, extremely oppressive, and everything on the planet wants to kill you.
Uh-oh.
So there is plenty of life. There is life everywhere on this planet, but it is like absolutely.
It's life that doesn't want
to
you to be with it. It's like it's not coexisting
Yep.
life. Yeah.
So there's some really cool stuff that happens, and the major theme of the book really shone through to me, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is amazing!"
What's the major theme? What's the major theme of the book?
I don't know if I can give it away.
Oh,
but,
okay. No, it's okay. No, yeah, don't give it away. Yeah,
So-
if it's a spoiler.
Table of contents, right? If you read the table of contents, you're going to see 3 things. It's separated into 3 parts, and maybe there's individual chapter names or whatever, but the 3 sections of the book are named
Let's see. I think I can get to the table of
Liberté,
contents.
Égalité, Fraternité,
Okay. Well, this is like
which are the 3 words as a motto of the French Revolution.
Oh, okay. So liberty, brotherhood, and then is the other one
Getting too
equality?
spoilery. Yeah, égalité, liberté, égalité, fraternité is
Liberty,
equality, liberty, and brotherhood.
brotherhood. Okay, cool. I know French.
7 years, man. Woo.
7 years, dude.
So yeah, it's all about this guy, Doctor Professor Dakhdev, who was a dissident on Earth in some of the academic circles, and he was a xenobiologist trying to understand what was going on, life outside of our solar system. And he was only being fed what the mandate wanted him to be fed.
Okay.
When he gets out to kill him, they're like, "Well, screw it, you're not going to get back to Earth anyway. So here's all the information. We want you to
Oh.
study it."
Ah.
And so he's like given access to the corpses of life forms that they're finding out on the planet. And
Full disclosure, he
trying
gets
to-
everything.
he's trying to figure out, like, what in the hell are these things?
Sure.
Because that's the other thing, is that, like, life outside of our solar system does not look like life in our solar system.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
selfish
it
for us
does
to
not make
assume that it
sense.
does. Yeah, we're just like, oh, it must look like us because like we're all powerful, whatever, you know.
Right. And the mandate, of course, is saying that we were specially created, and therefore all life in the universe should be subservient to us, and therefore it should make sense based on
Okay.
God's laws. And he's like, yeah, no.
Sounds like the mandate of heaven, dude.
Yeah, like, nature does not care about your philosophy.
Yeah,
is basically when...
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, nature doesn't nature doesn't care.
So I like immediately had this strong vision within my head about like certain scenes
Sure.
within this book, and I was like, I want to, at the very least, like, I can't write worth a damn, but try to write some sort of like adaptation of this
Ah, okay.
into, maybe, I don't even know what. Like, let's do a Douglas Adams sort of thing where it's like, I need to take everything that I've read and then distill it into either a movie form or like a radio show
transform the
form or
art.
something
Like take some art form that you really like and then look at it through your lens and project it into another medium. Okay, that's cool.
And I've been watching several YouTube channels. We talked about it earlier,
Sure.
including like Steve Shives, who does Star Trek.
Okay.
And there's multiple others, but Screen Rants is another one, who look particularly at media literacy. And I was just like, through that lens of the things that they talk about, I have had a very strong, like, almost revelation about these particular scenes. And I think that I would, at least as an exercise, right? Like, let's try to write this scene as like out of a movie or out of a
almost like
something else,
screenwriting.
TV show. Yeah,
That's cool, man.
like, again, I can't write worth a damn, but
I wonder if these
an
days
exercise. Let's try it.
I wonder if we could use AI to like. This is where
I'm sure we could.
I've caught like the AI bug, dude, in the last week or two. I used to be like, all this fucking shit's bullshit. It's all overhyped and whatnot. And I think the popularity of AI has at least died down at least a little bit, so that all the low hanging fruit stuff is like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now the playing field is about, okay, who's actually going to use AI to do cool stuff. I've been using it to write Manum code. Do you know what Manum is?
No.
It's a programming language for doing math animations. Manum math animation, I guess. It's very cool. But anyways, I've been very surprised at how good ChatGPT actually is at adapting things in one language and putting them into another language. So for instance, I give it plain English stuff and I say, hey, I need you to illustrate the quadratic formula and blah, blah, blah. And I need you to write code to animate it, and it'll do it. So, and it does it very well, actually. And so I wonder if, for instance, with your idea of, hey, take, this text from this chapter and adapt it as if it was a screenplay, it would be kind of cool to see what it comes up with.
Yeah,
Just as like
and
inspiration.
that's
I
the
guess.
other thing is if you're going to be using AI, and this goes to all of you students out there too.
Yeah. If you're gonna be using
If you're going to use AI for literally anything, do not hand it in,
yeah.
or at the very least, do not hand that in
Yes.
as
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
final draft. That
Yeah.
could be
Don't
your
do it.
first draft,
Yes.
like that you don't hand in, or just here's a draft. Now let's go through and edit every
You take
single
it as like
thing to make sure
inspiration.
that it's actually
Inspiration.
doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I say inspiration. I use it a lot of times. I'll have like, I get stuck in like a roadblock of I want to say this, but I don't want to take 10 minutes trying to word it correctly. So I'll just tell ChatGPT, be like, I want to talk about how education is difficult because kids are distracted by their phones, blah 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 blah. Give me something, and then it gives me something that looks pretty decent. I'm like, cool, that's great. And then I'll adapt it a little bit. There are websites actually that the students because I teach a lot of students, and I see they have like the counter tricks to getting caught. They use this website called Zero GPT. Have you heard of this? Zero GPT.
No.
So you can type in
Not
stuff,
surprised.
text content and what it does. So back in the day, right? We used to, and they still use it today. What's it called? Like Turnitin.com, right? That checks for plagiarism. This checks for whether the thing was written by AI. So it's cool sometimes to. So actually, here let's do a little experiment here. Let's see if I take one of the kids' questions and I put it into Zero GPT and like see if it was written by ChatGPT. Equity, this is yours. Good. This one says this text is human written. 0% AI.
0%. Good job.
Good job, dude. Yes, because I know some students will just use ChatGPT to come up with like questions. But okay, for example though, if I put your bio in, so what I do is kind of like a fun thing for all our AMA guests, and you did a really good job here. Is like I send them a Google form, I say fill out these questions, and then from that I send that into an AI to write a bio, like a fun little like, oh, here's our speaker, whatever, and it's just cool. So if I were to put in your bio here into Zero GPT and we say detect, no, this is not. This is definitely why is this is wrong then. This is 100% ChatGPT. This is 100%, dude. What? Okay, well this is wrong then. Okay, well this thing sucks. Never mind. Okay, bad Zero GPT.
Whoops.
I've seen it work sometimes, but this is like okay. Yeah. Anyways,
this
it's
is
interesting.
Also, like, I wonder if it also might be that it's small enough sample size that it got away with it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
curious.
because like a 20-page paper, it's going to repeat itself. It's going to say stuff that's
Sure.
just literally wrong. So
I think it looks for like certain patterns and stuff is what it should be doing. Yeah. Anyways, okay, but okay, cool.
There
So
was
see that.
also a book I have not read yet, but
Okay.
was on my
What's another
shelf,
book? Yeah.
by David Bessy.
Bessie sounds French.
B-E-S-S-I-S.
Sounds
Yeah,
more French.
it is.
We got something with the French here,
called
dude.
Mathematica, A Secret World of Intuition and Curiosity. So I picked this up fairly recently after seeing a tweet that he put out that was like, basically, we don't really understand math, and I'm here to revolutionize it.
Okay,
I
cool.
was like, that's a pretty bold claim. Okay.
Math has a reputation for being inaccessible. People think it requires a special gift. I agree. Yeah, some students are like, man, I'm not a math person. Like, I'm not going to get numbers. Okay.
Yeah. So there was somewhere in here, he says, and I'm going to quote here,
Yeah, quote it.
it's time to come clean. When we do math, we're not truly accessing platonic entities that free float in the fantasy world of perfection. We're just imagining them. Math is a mental activity, a cognitive hack that transforms our intuition and makes us smarter.
Ooh, I like that. I do like that. That's cool.
And math works because when we play with our mental images using the fantasy rules of logic, our intuition becomes crisper, sharper, and more powerful. The real foundation of mathematics is not axioms, but neuroplasticity.
Ooh, okay. Like it's an exercise. It's not necessarily the end result. It's the process of getting stronger, I guess, kind of.
Yep.
Oh,
The
I love
number
that.
one reason why we fail to teach math is that we present it as knowledge without telling kids that it's a motor skill developed by practicing by
I like that.
practicing unseen actions in your head.
I like
Passive
that.
listening is useless, yet we never say it, although I do in my class.
Yeah.
We're basically asking kids to take notes during yoga lessons.
Man, I resonate with so much of this shit, dude. Okay, I need to go read this book. I'm a fucking this book is great. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
think this
much.
is going to be my next one after I actually finish
Oh, it's so
Children
good.
of Time.
No, it's just it does speak a lot to, and actually, Zach and I were talking about this. You know how they had, what was it, the 100 Grievances by Martin Luther when he nailed them on the Catholic Church? He's like, y'all suck, basically. Me and Zach were gonna say we should do 100 grievances about math education, and I think that I love that thing you said about taking notes during yoga class. I think it is. It's a terrible thing when I see all these kids like just writing what's on the board and just focusing more on like, oh my god, what's he writing, and I'm like, but you're not understanding, you're not learning, you're just dictating at this point. Like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
want to do a few more questions and we'll...
Yeah, let's keep doing questions. We got so many questions. Sorry. Do you have to go sometime soon?
There's still a few more. No.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have to go anywhere for like the next hour and a half, so we're good. All right, Justin says, oh yeah, we talked about this in you wrote about it in your bio. We haven't talked about it yet. But Justin says, how did you find interest in Tang Soo Do? I assume that's a martial arts.
So, yep, 2005, 2006, we moved down to Maryland, and I was like, I need to do something to keep
need a
in
hobby.
shape, and I've always wanted to do martial arts. I just never have. I'm 22 years old at this point.
Sure.
So, like, this is almost half my life at this point. Where half of my life currently
so far,
has gone by.
Yes.
And
not half overall.
I have not. I've wanted to do martial arts, but I never did it.
Got you.
My brother did some when he was 8 to 11 or something like that, and I just never did. And I don't know why. I think my parents were more interested in making sure that I didn't beat him up or something. I don't know. But yeah. So we moved down to Maryland, and I was just like, let me find a martial art. So I looked up a bunch, and there were some that were like, I want to do Aikido because
I did Aikido in high school. That's a cool one.
I was a big fan of The Matrix also at that point.
Yes.
And I also played The Matrix Online.
Oh wow.
Where
throwback.
Where you could specialize in particular martial arts. So Neo is very much kung fu. Right?
Kung fu, yep.
That's his line, right? I know kung fu.
Yeah.
They never talk about...
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, this is an old school game.
Ooh. Morpheus is very much an Aikido specialist.
Yeah, which is like taking energy and deflecting it in other ways, right? That's what Aikido's not it's not an aggressive.
Grabs and throws.
Yeah.
And you just keep moving people around and get them to
Got you.
And I think Trinity is a bit more edging toward karate.
Yeah, she's aggressive. She's like
but with all sorts of special stuff. It could just be like Krav Maga or something like that. But
sure.
So I looked it up and I was like, I kind of want to do Aikido, but the one that I found was Aikido with ki, and I'm like,
with ki?
That sounds like pseudoscience.
What's ki?
Ki is like the chi,
the energy.
Using the it's like using spiritual energy to do something, and I'm like, I don't really buy that particularly, but I understand it now, at least in some respect, that it's much more of a metaphorical type thing, where if you are using a person's actual energy, their physical energy to move and then deflect and do all that stuff, then it makes sense. You're not doing what that weird guy does in class where he's like, I don't remember what the guy's... Yeah, but there's one guy who's like, he'll just yell at his students and they fall over, and it's like, no. No, that doesn't work.
No, that's wrong. No.
And there's actually videos of this same guy, not in this video, but there's these videos of this one guy who yells at his students and they get possessed essentially by like the energy, and they'll start looking like they've been shocked with electricity.
Yeah.
And there's videos of him doing this to people who don't belong to his studio, and they're just like, what are you doing?
Did he?
Like, that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Like, what do you
Right.
no. Like, dude, I would punch you in the face. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Like, what are you doing, dog?
so he's effectively like brainwashed his own students to believe in this particular thing. And if he ends up meeting some sort of criminal on the street who is going to believe in his particular like chi response, then great.
Yeah.
It'll work perfectly. But otherwise, like, he's just kind of fooling himself. And anyway, so long story short, I went to I went down the list and I was like, well, there's this one called Tang Soo Do, which belonged to a particular karate organization, and they are like Pennsylvania, Maryland, kind of
Okay.
like that
They have a dojo.
overarching area. So that's the other thing, is that they don't have a dojo specifically. What they
Ah, okay.
do is they go to the local governments and they say, we would like to be on your roster for who's it's your Parks and Rec, like
Okay.
publicly available stuff.
Sure.
And they charge somewhere around like $70 to $100 depending on the length of the session, depending on how many students show up and all this other stuff. So that's for usually 8 weeks,
Okay.
10 weeks, something like that. So I'm paying $300 a year.
That's not bad. That's a pretty cheap gym membership.
Which,
Very
right?
cheap.
And for a lot of gyms and for a lot of other like places with an actual dojo, they're charging you 100, 200, 300 a month.
Yeah, easily.
And so I was like, well, obviously this is the better deal. And I
Yeah.
got into the organization and
So they do
got
it at like
my
parks. They just do like in open parks and stuff.
so they do it typically at either elementary or middle schools,
Okay,
like in
I
their
see.
cafeterias and gyms,
Yeah, like gymnasiums and
or
stuff. Yeah.
at the like the Parks and Rec centers, like the activity centers.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, I
it
see like
works
some
really
cool
well
pictures of.
for all of our particular school and for all of its various classes. Like we do yeah.
Is it Korean? Is it a Korean? Is it Korean? Is what it is technically?
It is majority Korean. There are some groups within it, I think, which are primarily Japanese, but
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. It also depends on like where you are. So our particular school was a balance between the Korean art of oh my god, I did this the other day.
Judo?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. That's it, right? Sorry. Yeah, judo is Japanese.
Right. So Taekwondo, which is a lot of punching and kicking and just strength training, building
Yeah.
up your body, all that good stuff. Learning how to breathe properly and effectively, using that power to generate a kyo, which is your
Yeah.
yell.
Kyo! Kyo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
generating, and then using that power to then like snap your muscles.
Ah.
So you use that in order to get a more powerful hit out of it.
Oh,
And then like
that's cool.
all
Snap.
the other stuff that goes with it. Your forms, your like our fighting style, generally speaking, is pretty taekwondo / karate.
Gotcha.
The guy who is like the head of the organization ended up studying like 30 martial arts or something like that, and trying to distill all of his information into one particular art.
Mm-hmm.
So and then we also do jujitsu, which does a lot of like locks and
A lot of
using
groundwork, right? Jiu-jitsu is a lot of groundwork, I think, too. No?
we don't do BJJ.
Oh, Brazilian
The
Jiu-Jitsu is
Brazilian
more the groundwork.
jiu-jitsu oftentimes is take people down
Sure.
and sometimes also go with them. Jiu-jitsu by itself is the Japanese art, which is mostly a bit more like Aikido,
Okay.
where you want to like use the person's energy against them, get them down onto the ground, and then just strike. And then
Gotcha.
that's
Gotcha.
it. You're
That's
done.
it. Yeah, you're not hugging each other on the ground for like 8 hours.
Nope. Because, and this is the other important thing, we do something called four corners.
Okay.
there are 4 people attacking you. You had better stay up.
So this is what I was showing on the original video, because I know this, because my buddy, so one of the Aikido exam things, right, is that you just have to get assaulted by like a bunch of people.
Yep.
Like you're just sitting here and everyone's like coming at you, and you have to know how to like move this guy this way, and then like use this guy's energy
did
to do
something
this.
that was really good there. Throwing people in front of other people so that they can't attack you.
Right, you're hitting like a wall, like you like yeah, okay, very cool.
Like they would have to literally jump over this person in order to attack you, and it's just easier for them to.
I think it's funny. It's like a bunch of like zombies like coming at you, like
in order to worry about where these other people are. So you kind of that's a nice face.
It'll unfreeze. You're good.
Yeah, so it buys you time to then be able to turn your back on this person and wait for the attack in front of you. So it was a really good thing for me. I mean, just strength training and all that has always been kind of my weakness.
Yeah. I like strength training.
Like my arms are awful. They've always been awful. I just can't build up muscle that much on my arms.
Sure.
Or at least I don't feel like I can. And every time that I do kind of build up muscle, it still feels like I'm slow and can't really do much.
But Tank Sudo is like you have like progress and you can see the benefits, and so it's encouraging to you to like keep doing it. Yeah, that's important for sure.
So I went through yellow and green belt. Got pretty well versed in it. We had a couple of new guys come in who one of them became like my best friend within the organization, and essentially my partner who was working up with me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he was already a black belt in Bondo.
Bondo. Oh, okay.
Which is a lot of crap. I can't remember exactly. I think it was
Bondo.
There was something particularly about it.
Or Bando. It's called Bando. Or you're right. No. It is pronounced Bondo, but it's spelled Bando.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Kukri.
Oh, this is cool.
So there's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It does have some like slight influence with maybe the guy using his knees there.
Muay Thai? Like almost Muay Thai?
Muay Thai, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I see this. I see like the shins. The shins. I'm like, bro, that's Muay Thai. People are just like kicking coconut trees.
Most of Tank Sudo ends up being like using your fists, using your elbows, using your knees, and using your instep. So like that part on your foot right there on the top of your ankle, and cracking the hell out of people.
Oh my god.
So we. Generally speaking, we've got a pretty good program. This was also the martial art that come on.
Bruce Lee?
Come on. Nope.
Man. There's a lot of them. Let's see, what am I thinking of? Ip Man? Maybe, was it Ip Man?
Sorry. Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Chuck Norris, martial arts.
He kind of brought Tank Sudo to America, and then that's where it started.
Oh my god. Oh, this is such a throwback to me now. Okay, because now I'm remembering one of my best friends and my college roommate has a picture with Chuck Norris with some martial arts thing, so it must be Tank Sudo.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean, like, he's done a bunch of other stuff, too, but that's, like, his main one.
That's his main one. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Chuck Norris, dude. The Texas Ranger. All right, nice. All right, here, let's do it. Let's do another question. Let's see what the other students. Equity's got a good one here. It says, what do you think is the best way to teach students so they're able to learn? Because you were a teacher for a bit, yeah.
Yep.
And then they say, how's your interests in Tank Sudo and puzzle hunts influence the way you teach and learn? Talking about the puzzles. You like the puzzles?
Yeah. So this is like the question, right?
The question, yeah.
So Zach and I have been talking a bit about like, what do you think the best way to learn is, and or best way to teach in order to learn.
Gotcha.
And we've been dealing with some like experiential type teaching where it's less of us talking
Yeah.
as it is us interacting with students who are interacting with each other.
And is this kind of the basis for y'all's like the course you guys are running?
Yeah, I would say
Online,
yes.
right? Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
Zach, for instance, when he did his,
Yeah, they're
sorry,
the course.
something just hit the wall. Okay, I think we might be okay.
Is this when bad shit starts happening, dude? Is this a psycho thriller in itself? Is this the psycho thriller
No, I
podcast,
think,
man?
I think somebody might have fallen out of bed.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah. So when Zach did real analysis
Yep.
in the winter, this past winter,
Yep.
it was a lot of here's a question for you to discuss, and those of
Shout
us
out
who
to
were
Zach.
in each of the classes were able to talk with each other about like, what do you think this is really asking, or what are your opinions on this particular thing? What's your understanding? Not even just opinion, but what's your understanding of this particular concept?
Gotcha.
And then we could like bounce ideas off of each other. And occasionally Zach would step in and like throw out an idea or like confirm that, yeah, you know what, that's kind of what I'm going for, and
Okay.
we can move on.
Yeah,
So
but like we're learning
much
together.
more,
It's more like
yeah,
we're
it's much
figuring it
more
out together.
role of a facilitator
Gotcha.
rather than
He's the
an
dungeon master.
instructor.
It's Dungeons and Dragons, dude. And
Yeah.
he's the dungeon master.
Essentially. And so that's what I was kind of planning on doing when I taught differential equations, which yeah, we're doing differential equations this semester here.
Yeah, we have the link there.
But
and then
currently Zach and Stuckey are the only students. So
I like tuning in every once in a while to just see what you guys are doing, just because it's one of those courses where like I barely passed that class. I say pass. I say I barely got a B in that class. C's were like failing in my eyes.
Yeah.
But so it's cool to see you going through them and whatnot. But it is intense. Like DiffyQ is pretty intense at times. I'll post the link here.
I really love it, and
Like
like the course itself is just absolutely amazing.
It is. It's very useful
not
too.
necessarily my course. I'm just saying like different.
Oh no, your course is amazing, dude. Zach says he is thy dungeon man. Zach.
So yeah, we're
so
kind of
learning together as a
and
group and going towards things is the best, you think?
And I'm kind of using these 3 years here that we're definitely going to be overseas.
Yeah.
To kind of distill what I want to do when I get back. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So if I'm teaching, then I want to be able to come back and be like, I am re-energized. I am going to teach in this kind of
I'm
new
no
way.
longer
Let's do
burnt
this.
out.
Oof, which, believe me, it was getting to be
It happens, dude.
dangerous.
Our guest last week, dude, got out of teaching high school because he was like, fuck this, dude, I'm burnt out. It happens, man.
Yeah. So that's another thing, is that I did actually teach in public schools for a year and a quarter. The quarter was on at least the last part of the year. So
okay, so it's not like you got a quarter into it and you were like, nope,
No.
I'm out. No, you got in at the end.
I got hired on St. Patrick's Day to teach for the rest of the year.
Oh wow! Like, wait, you didn't have to come in on St. Patrick's Day though, right?
So I was, yeah, we did.
Like what?
But
What? No,
we were,
what?
So I was also substitute teaching.
Okay.
While also doing some of the like temp jobs for Kelly.
Gotcha.
So like I would wake up in the morning, I would get a phone call and be like, "Do you want to work at this place today?" And sometimes I'd be like, "You know what? That is on the Eastern Shore, so no, I do not want to work there."
Like, no.
Don't
want to do it.
If you've seen Maryland, right? It's got like the
it's like a big
two parts
U.
that look like this essentially, and like you do not. I was much more over in like this area. You do not want to go
there's
all the way over to Eastern Shore, i.e. almost Delaware.
But there's not really like is there a ferry? Is there like a boat that goes across it at least?
Giant bridge that costs like $10 or something like that.
This one right here? What
across.
is it? The Preston Bay Memorial Bridge or something? What is this?
Yeah, it's the Bay Bridge.
Oh wow.
I was living on the western parts there, closer to Baltimore and DC.
Okay. Yep.
And yeah. So
So if they had a gig over
like,
here on the right, you're like, I'm not doing it.
nope.
Nope, not for me.
That was all. Like I worked in 2 different counties, so it
Okay.
was Howard County and Anne Arundel County. And Anne
Okay.
Arundel County goes from like you see where 95 kind of cuts through
Yes.
the
Right
Baltimore
here.
Washington.
Yep. 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 I see over here.
Yeah. So if you go like a couple lines over
Left or right?
to the east,
To the east. Okay.
couple of down. Now go south from here. Let's see. A little bit west.
Ooh, I see Anne Arundel Community College.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one. So the north-south one that you got there, I think that's Route 3.
Yep.
So Anne Arundel County goes from about 100. Oh, no, sorry. 295. There we go. From 295 all the way across the bay.
Oh, wow.
And
The
like
Downs, dude. I love how this place is called The
bunch of that.
Downs. The what? The Downs. Like, you want to go to
Yep.
the Downs, dude?
So you like I would probably draw a circle around my house and say
Yeah.
like anything within about a half an hour is good.
Right.
And
But like
I
having to
just
go
said
up
like
here.
anything else I don't want to go.
Yeah, Delaware.
Nah,
Like
that's
going
all
up here to
Baltimore.
Delaware is like, no, yeah, I see. That's like way too
But
far.
from the Bay Bridge, if you just go south
Yeah.
on the eastern side,
Yes.
like most of that is still Anne Arundel County.
Oh, interesting.
And so
It
they'd be like,
crosses
"You want to work
over the
here,
bay.
right?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, this is like technically it's
Yeah,
the
the
same county.
administrative stuff, it kind of went like, in a rectangle or something like,
Ah.
over to the other side. I'm just like, no, I don't want to work over there. And like, you could fill out your preferences at the beginning of the year, and where do you and don't you want to work? And I excluded those, but they still called me because they were, I think, desperate.
Yeah, they're desperate.
Um,
And were you
but
getting
at
called
any
to
rate,
sub like math classes? Like I would say there's like 2
I was
classification
getting
of subs.
called for anything,
Yeah,
and
right. Sometimes you're
also
just a fucking
I would
babysitter.
prioritize. Right, I would prioritize math classes.
Yeah.
But if they're like, we need an art teacher to do this. If
You're
I
like,
was like,
oh.
I haven't worked in a week, I'll do it.
I'll go in. We'll do some finger painting. Or really, you just go
Yeah.
in. You'd like turn on the TV and be like, "All right, kids, do your stuff."
Not always. There were a few that were kind of interesting, but
Okay, cool.
yeah. So I was temping and doing this other stuff, and they called me up and said we need a long-term sub in technology, and I was like,
Ooh, tech is
sure,
cool.
I guess.
I like tech.
So the students were supposed to be working on CAD projects for like a product that they were creating,
Okay.
and then make advertisement for the product.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of like, all right, this is kind of cool. And I was walking around, and there was one student who was working on a thing which was like, it's a gravity manipulator, 0-point energy gravity manipulator. I was like, no, you copied that from Half-Life 2. Try something else. And he was like, oh,
damn. He's
I
like,
get
my
the
sub
one
is
gamer
cool.
teacher.
Yeah, the one gamer teacher. Dude, I love Half-Life. Yeah. Oh man.
So that day during lunch break, I went up to like the math department, and I found where their teacher's room was, and I sat down and I talked with them and stuff like that. And then the
kids that don't know.
department chair walked in, and she was like, "Oh, hi, who are you?" And we talked, and she was like, "Wait, you're a math teacher? You have a degree?" I was like,
you are
"Uh-oh."
qualified.
And so she
Come
says,
hither.
Yes, she actually said, "Follow me," and walked out. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still eating my okay. So, so we get downstairs to the cafeteria, and she marches straight up to a guy wearing a nice suit, and is like, he has a math degree, hire him. I was like, that's not quite what I signed up for.
Man,
but all right.
you get a lot of these like just you're in a job experience or something, and they're like, "We need you to take the job right now. We need you to take it right now."
So
Yes or no?
this is also a thing, right? And not everybody has this happen to them, but like,
Yeah.
my dad is one of those people who just like, no matter what happens, it always seems like he has incredibly good luck.
Okay.
And I think that it's mostly because he has accepted that like mentality of, let's pick and choose, but at the same time, like, let's say yes to a variety of experiences.
Yeah, let's create a lot of opportunities for luck to happen.
Right. Yes. Let's create opportunities for ourselves, whether that be now or in the future.
Gotcha.
And it was just like, also like, I think he taught me and my brother to have that kind of perception,
Nice.
to like notice when that sort of opportunity was making itself available,
Sure.
and then to, at least consider the possibilities. Maybe not take it, but figure out, what's going on, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of these things were just, I'm in the right place at the right time, sure, but that could be anybody. That could be all of you out there
Yeah.
too. So all of you students, learn to take some of these opportunities and turn them to your advantage, or at the very least turn them into further opportunities later.
Learn to be in some places, right? Yeah, just put
Right.
yourself out there, go into places, and then that place may end up being your place. And you're like, oh, wow, okay.
There were definitely several places where I was like, I do not want to work today I do not want to go to whatever school, and I don't want to drive an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, those probably were missed opportunities for something.
Sure.
I could have learned something, I'm sure. But at the same time, just, I think, kind of enjoying the serendipity when it comes, and also potentially picking and choosing when you are feeling like you're maybe in a good mood for it.
Yeah. I say always just like, I used to have this big thing of like, just say yes to things.
Yeah.
If someone invites you out, say yes. Yeah, like whatever. You're not going to meet anyone sitting on your couch,
Yeah.
And you never know who you're going to run into.
Like sitting on your couch, but at the same time, it's like, this might be a good opportunity to just do something different.
I agree. Yeah. Shake it up. The universe loves entropy, right? It loves just random variations in things. That's how genetics work, right? That's how you look like Ewan McGregor and I look like, I don't know, Ryan Gosling, some people say, or something. But I take it as a super compliment.
I don't know. I can see it.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's just because you need random variation in order for like cool shit to just like materialize and happen. Yeah.
So for puzzle hunts.
Yeah. What are the puzzle hunts? Puzzle hunts. Are we talking about like crossword puzzles or what?
So it kind of goes everywhere. I don't know that I have like a good example right here, but
like an
there
escape
are
room?
a series of. That's closer. So
Okay.
we have a series of groups of people who will create some sort of series of puzzles, and these puzzles can be word-based, they could be knowledge-based, they could be trivia, they could be all sorts of stuff. And
it's a series of different challenges. It kind of okay, I see. That kind of reminds me of like an escape room, maybe. Like if you for those the students that don't know,
it's all on pen and paper most of the time.
Okay, but yeah, but you're not interacting with something.
Object.
Yeah,
you could have like they wouldn't do this, but solve this Rubik's cube. Again, they wouldn't have you do that, but it could be something like, we have a net. Like the little something that'll make a cube when you fold it up. And so your task is to cut this thing out, fold it up into a cube, and then follow the series of instructions that are given to you in this list, and find out, like, after you rotate it and flip it and do some other stuff, what's face up,
right?
What symbol is face up? So there's all sorts of stuff that happens with it.
Maybe like mazes too. Mazes kind of like count as like puzzle hunts. Seeing like
it kind of depends. Like, yeah,
like collect all the keys or something.
Just gonna be like, right? You're probably not going to be like, here, solve this single maze, but it might be like, as you're going through the maze, you need the answer from number 3 to get like what direction this is supposed to go in, or to unlock this particular door, right?
Gotcha.
And then when you when you list off all of the appropriate letters in order, then it anagrams into something
Oh, it
which is the
spells
final
out
answer.
something. Yes, dude. This reminds me of the old math worksheets they used to give us in like middle school. It's like, and then take the
Yep.
numbers and put them here, and it spells out
All
a
the awful
cool
cheesy
joke.
things.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
So
Okay.
yeah, I had a friend who like got bored at a job of his where he was assigned to do some, I don't know, C++ stuff
Okay.
on a, or SQL server or something like that. And so he had to he wrote a program for it, and they were like, "Great, now maintain it." And he's like, "I don't need to.
Like, it just works, dog.
Do you want me to just go home and you can call me?" And they're like,
I guess like they feel like, what is it? Like the code is gonna expire or something?
"Okay." Yeah, I don't even know. It was
Like,
he
the
was
code
like,
goes
"This
bad,
is
keep
the
it in the fridge.
stupidest job. This is the stupidest job that I have ever had in my entire life." But at the same time, it's paying a like
Yeah,
ridiculous
they
amount of
pay
money
they pay a good amount.
for
Yep.
doing literally nothing. So he was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna create a puzzle hunt."
I
So
gotta
he
do
made a
something. Yeah.
website. He made a website which was all like a series of word puzzles, which were very unbalanced, and like I solved probably a tenth of them.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't think it exists anymore. I think he took down the site finally because I
Yeah,
was the
stop
only
paying for it
one
at some
using
point.
it.
Sensation says something interesting.
But
He says, "I thought entropy was decreasing energy towards an end point and not a change." No, entropy is increasing energy. Well, it's increasing chaos, I guess, right? Is that what we think of entropy? You took some physics right with entropy, yeah?
there is a better way. I didn't take thermo.
I hated thermo too, honestly. I
That
hate
was going to be my
thermo.
sophomore level class, and I was like, "Yep, nope, I'm out."
Yep,
Because
nope.
our UNH had a 39% pass rate.
Yeah, thermo's brutal,
I
dude.
was
It's like
just
the
like,
OChem of physics. Yeah.
so I saw the writing on the wall before I got to it.
Yeah, you're like, no, don't do
that
it.
I didn't know if I was really, I didn't know if I had the chops for that
It's just
particularly.
confusing, is what it is.
Yeah. Like nowadays, I probably do fine. If I went
Yeah.
back and like got a master's in physics, I think I could do it.
I think about this
But
too, with all my enhanced knowledge from doing math and stuff. I think, man, I would fucking crush it if I just went back to college right now. Although I don't know if I would crush it in order of like doing homework because
yeah,
I don't know. I've kind of lost the will to do that in my life.
I don't have time.
I don't have the time. I look back at myself and I think, how the fuck was I taking 4 or 5 classes, studying for exams, and still like playing beer pong with my friends? How did I do all this? I'm really confused. I don't know. Like, I can't go to Costco today and like also be productive. like, it's too much.
Yep.
So
yeah,
but
there was a lot of stuff with puzzle hunts. Like, I think it'd be really cool if I could make something that were like an actual puzzle hunt, which would require actual knowledge from the class to be able to solve actual problems, like real world stuff, not
man,
just
we
like
could call this like actual education. Yeah.
But like, there so I got into, and you know what, Equity, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Because I went to a training session that was run by a friend of mine. Her son was in the same daycare as our kids, so like we got to talking a bunch and stuff like that. And we got to hanging out sometimes. We weren't quite in the same friends group, but at the same time, like, we work together, so we'll hang out together or whatever. She did something, and she's actually from the UK originally. Now she's in Maryland. So she was working on something that was called inquiry-based learning.
Okay.
Or
kind of Socratic, I guess, right? Asking questions and then.
Not quite.
Okay.
So the thing was that that was all well and good, but the point was to structure your classes in such a way that you would have the students learn the skill that you want them to learn, and at the same time earn like real world knowledge in doing a thing that is real.
Okay. That's the reward.
Yeah. So her her entire course was structured along the idea that at the end they were going to go to France and they
Oh.
were going to, as like their final project essentially, and the school would pay for them to go. So
Okay.
like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
And I guess probably some of this was absorbed in the cost of the course, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, they take some of the tuition.
Yeah. The goal was to get all of the students, as many as were possible, to go on an excursion. This was for an anthropology class, and do a dig in France. Like go on an actual dig in France. So they had the permits lined up and everything
Yep.
ahead of time. Or at least like the framework permits to say like, we're coming out there, this is what we want to do, and they got a check
Yeah.
mark for it. During the course of the semester, the students would essentially repeat that process.
Oh, okay.
And so they would, obviously it's been cleared ahead of time, but they would still have to go through the process in order to do the work. Like
Yeah.
in order to say, yes, I understand that I need to go get permits. I need to do this, that, and the other. I need to check with the governments, both,
Sure.
local, state, and national.
So they're learning through practicing.
Yes. And at the same time, they would come into class and they would have a like low-level assignment, which is just, here's your goal. Those of you who have read the book, like know how to do this.
Right.
Ahead of time. Or like you'll have a 90% like knowledge base of what needs to be done. You won't quite know 100%, but
Right.
you got like most of it down. And they would come into class and then they would have a discussion about how all of this stuff works and like what does it do, how do we do this in the real world versus like just talking about it in academics.
Sure, yeah. Like they'd see like the practical application of like what is this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So she went through this whole thing, and I was like furiously scribbling in my notebook to try to figure out how I could do this in mathematics. And it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's
to adapt
not
it that
something
way.
you could just snap it up and be like, oh yeah, I got this. One of my colleagues was doing some experimentation with, a calculus class and tried to make
I feel like, yeah, you might be able to do the calculus
interesting.
class because a lot of the real world applications of math require pretty high level math, right? If something's being used in the real world mathematically, it's not like dividing 10 by 5, right? It's an optimization problem, or it's a related rates problem.
10 by 5 is going to be buried way down in there.
I know, yeah. It's way down there. But yeah, I get it. Like you're trying to incentivize it a little bit. I was thinking. Do you remember these types of worksheets, right? Where
Yep.
you had to answer something, and like whatever the number is, it would correspond to a letter, and then the letter would spell out like some hidden word or something. I feel like this was very early
This is
attempts.
contrived.
Yes, it is. But the kids see through this. They're like, this is not cool at all, right? But I
Yep.
see the idea of like they're trying to incentivize the student to do math by putting some sort of reward. I mean, this is what I do with my server. Is the reward for the kids I give to them is video game stuff, and so they like that reward. They're cool with it. They want it 100%. I feel like they catch on pretty early to this, and they're just like, this is lame.
Yep.
Because this is kind of like a puzzle, right? This is kind of it's not a really good puzzle hunt, but it's on the same, I guess, maybe track or something, right?
Yeah, except it's all one thing, right?
It's just one thing, right? I wonder if
So,
ChatGPT can
this is-
solve this. Right? Oh, nice.
So,
What's up? Good.
So I went to a conference in 2023.
Okay.
2020, yeah, November 2022. It was being run by the American Mathematical Association for two-year colleges, or AMATIC. And I do a bunch of stuff with like their magazine.
Okay.
In terms of like pulling questions from them and things like that. No, okay. I never know when somebody's just gonna run in here.
Yeah.
So the keynote speaker was a guy named Peter Liljedahl, who had been in the Barcelona Olympics for canoeing.
Canoeing. Oh, that's
He was
cool.
on
Canoeing? I didn't know they had canoeing in the Olympics. What?
He's from Sweden or something like that,
Okay.
back a couple generations. And so he did like reasonably well. I think he missed the podium by a few tenths of a second or something like that.
Damn. Okay.
Oh well.
Oh well.
But he was doing a doctorate in math education, and started working on a particular set of classroom practices that would get people into
Engaged.
doing, just really the initial thing was, can we get students more engaged?
Yeah.
Then can we also improve their learning?
Yeah.
Then can we also, and it just like snowballed from there.
Sure.
So he was doing a keynote, and I was like, all right. I grabbed my paper that I had collected from my students a while before, and was starting
Sure.
to correct papers, and I'm just like, all right, whatever, this is gonna be fine. And then he started talking, and I was like, nope, I'm 100% engaged. I threw him down. I picked up my notebook, and I started scribbling. Within, I don't know, an hour, within 5 minutes, I had like a main topic and a bunch of subtopics.
Yep.
Which, if you've ever seen a mind map,
I have seen a mind map before. I've seen people do mind maps. Yeah.
I was trained by my 9th grade history professor to do these things, and I went, oh no.
Oh,
what have I become?
Okay. Dude,
like,
sometimes you live long enough to become the villain, dude.
Yeah. So I rewrote my lesson that I was to do on Monday.
Sure.
And this was Thursday.
Oh wow. So you're about to have a busy
I also
weekend.
then picked up his book, Building Thinking Classrooms.
Gotcha.
Which is not 100% like best practices or whatever, but it is the thing that he has distilled over time to become like,
yeah, through his experience, like what's the best psychological way to get kids engaged. That's cool.
Yeah. So there are 14 particular practices that will allegedly enhance their students' learning. And
is this mainly is this K through 12? Because I feel like there's different strategies towards each age group, right?
Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored. So
hashtag not sponsored. Yeah. Do you have an affiliate link for us?
No.
Okay, here's the book. Yeah, this guy, Peter Liljedahl. Okay. Liljedahl. Executive summary. I like that. That's cool.
Yep. So he's got all these cute little cartoons that somebody drew up for him. It was
okay.
Her name's here, Laura Wheeler, and a bunch of pictures from his or other teachers' classes about what's happening within this thing. That right there is going to be the toolkits.
Gotcha.
That if you could do everything in group 1, you can do them almost instantaneously for any classroom.
You're talking about the stuff here? The stuff at the top?
The very top, yep.
So give thinking tasks, frequently form visibly random groups, use vertical, non-permanent surfaces.
Yes.
What? That's interesting. What? Yeah, explain that one to me. What's the use vertical, non-permanent surfaces? Like, is this the dry erase and the chalkboard?
Through their research, they found that if you give students something to work on, like in front of themselves,
yes,
then they're just working in front of themselves.
Okay.
The people across from them can't read what they're doing, not very well anyway. And the people like next to them or whatever, they're all doing their own thing, so they will do it independently.
Okay.
If you put it on a vertical surface, so like on the wall, whether that be like those giant manila papers,
the flip charts, yep.
So you put it on a flip chart on the wall, and the students are looking at this and they're like, okay, well, this is cool. Now everybody in the room can see their work.
Interesting. So psychologically, that probably does a bunch of stuff, right? Because
there's 2 things that it does. One, it freaks them the hell out because
because now you have an audience. Like someone's watching my shit.
Right? But then the other thing is they're getting super nervous about what if it's wrong?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the idea of taking away the flip chart paper and then putting on either a black or white board is now
It's okay to make
if
mistakes.
I'm wrong, I can just erase it, like whatever.
Oh my
It's like
God.
essentially zero stakes, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's essentially zero stakes. You
you
just
can make
start writing
mistakes.
something on the wall. It's like whatever, nobody
Yeah,
cares.
yeah, yeah.
It's gonna. And the other thing is that the teacher needs to build like this particular um, culture in the classroom where you're gonna be wrong.
Yeah,
It's
it's part of the
perfectly
learning process.
fine. It's
Exactly.
yeah, it's part of the natural process. You're going to be wrong. So throw stuff up there
Yeah,
and
throw it
it's
on the board.
perfectly fine. And
Yeah.
then what do we do at the end of class when it comes around? So this is one of the other toolkits down the way, but at the end of class what they do is he'll have them do a gallery walk.
Let's see, probably at the
So
end
that's
here.
going to be
Where's
should
it?
be 3. Next one up,
Right here.
down. Yeah. Consolidate from the bottom.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So what you do is you say, um, like anytime that you see a particular group has done the work for this particular problem, you kind of like put a circle around it, or you say like, save this. We'll come back to it later.
Okay.
And as you go to the end of class, everybody's working on their stuff. Everybody has the one above their mobilized knowledge.
Mobilized knowledge. Okay.
The last one in the previous
Got
toolkit.
right here. Yeah.
Mobilize knowledge. You intentionally tell them to talk with other groups about like,
okay.
oh, that's a really interesting idea. Why don't you ask them about it?
Yeah, peer feedback.
And yeah, so you get peer feedback, but also then they start talking about like, hey, you did that differently. So like, how did you do it differently? Is it wrong? Is it right?
Yeah.
Like, and they discuss it amongst each other. If they come to you, they should have like an absolute roadblock.
Right. Like, yeah.
They cannot. They just cannot get.
You got to
past it.
detrain them from just going straight to you. You got to be like, no. You need to figure it out amongst yourselves, guys. Yeah.
And that's also another one where you do answer keep only thinking questions, or only keep thinking.
Answer only
so
keep
if they're
thinking
asking
questions.
If they're asking you for like an explicit piece of information, you never give it to them.
Ah, okay.
You're just like, really? Well, why don't you talk with them? Because like that group did it differently, and you notice that.
Ah, okay.
It's, instead of utilizing, again, it's the same as what I was talking about with Zach. It's instead of being the source of knowledge, source of knowledge,
you're training the process.
Yes. Right.
I love this.
They're doing the process.
Yes.
They're doing the mathematics. They're no longer focused on you and what you're saying. They're now focused on talking with each other about math.
Yeah.
And like some of this stuff doesn't work. Some of this stuff doesn't work all the time.
Sure.
And some of this stuff works almost all the time.
Yeah. 100% of the time, it works 50% of
the time. The point of some of these, and especially in the first and like part of the second toolkit, is to knock them off balance.
Man, because this is so radical, dude. It's great. Yeah, keep going. It's
what students are so used to doing is what he calls studenting behaviors, which is that they are used to thinking, I need to be like this. I need to do this thing. I need to get good answers. Otherwise, I am not a good student. And that will mean for some of them that I will get the correct answer no matter what.
Yeah. I fear failure.
If that involves cheating, if that involves whatever, then I will, because I need to get the correct answer, because that's what a good student does.
Interesting. Yeah. They're not taught the value of like fucking up. Like making mistakes is the whole way you get better. Oh, this is really cool.
So all of that stuff in the first and part of the second group is just knocking them off balance and saying, we need to make an entire cultural shift within this classroom.
I love this.
That you are now going to be focused on doing other stuff. You are now focused on, like, what does a good student actually do? It's not just getting the right answer. It's not, whatever.
Man.
There was one in here. So he comes up with a bunch of anecdotes from like, other teachers who have been using the process. And then like they come back to him and go, hey, so something weird happened.
Something weird happened.
It all comes back to it.
It's a psycho thriller, dude. Something weird stuff starting to happen, man.
But this one girl was like, clearly on her phone in the back of the classroom.
Yeah.
And so she walked to the back of the classroom and like she would slip it under her desk and then just start writing on something. And then she'd raise her hand. And the teacher came over and she was like, yes. And she said something to the effect of like, is this right? Or,
Yeah. Fishing for the answers.
what page number was that again?
Uh-huh.
And she would just tell her what the page number was because whatever. But it was a notice that she was attempting to put herself in the cultural position of being the subservient student
Ooh.
who was doing the right thing, right? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what the page number is. Could you please tell me what the page number is?
Oh my gosh.
Because I need your help, teacher.
This is psychological. Yeah, it's like let
And
you
she's
let me
like,
feel
"Oh
used.
my god." So and then like, she takes 2 steps away and she slips her phone back out again. So
Yeah.
so there were a whole bunch of like these things that if you can call them out
Yeah.
before they do it, right?
Yeah.
Definitely don't call them out in the moment. But
Yeah.
if you can call them out beforehand and be like, "Hey, by the way, if you think this is being a good student, it really isn't, and we're going to mess with your entire perception of
Yeah,
reality."
your world, yeah, your
Then
worldview of like,
a lot of them will be like co-conspiratorial with you.
yeah, they want
They'll be
to
like,
role
"You know
play.
what? I love it."
I love
They
it. Let's
will
do it.
even want to do this for a lot of the stuff. Now,
Oh, that's cool.
you have to keep at it because otherwise if you like
Yeah, this is a lot of effort, and I feel like most teachers at this point are just burnt out. They're like, I'm not playing fucking social psychology mind games with my kids 24/7. Like,
well, that's the other thing is that you're doing it whether or not you know.
yeah, exactly.
And
You
if
have
you
to
become
actively
aware of
adjust.
it,
You have to
you could be
aware, and you
like,
have to
"No,
adjust your
look,
behavior.
I'm not playing this game."
Yeah. Yep.
You you tell them outright, "I'm not playing this game."
Yeah.
And like then when things cool down, when you're out of class, whatever, you can have a personal one-to-one conversation and be like, "Hey, so I know that you're doing this thing, just letting you
Yeah.
know that's not really what I want."
Yeah, let's like chill out on it. It's so funny. I had this realization today when I was teaching a student earlier, and I started noticing. I know it's something when you start building trust with a student. They start almost becoming dependent on you to the point where like they'll look at you and see what your eyes are doing to see whether they're doing the right thing or not. Like I'll be like, all right, try this question, and they'll start doing things, and they'll start looking at me. And I've had to do this where I'm like, no, I have to give just like a stern face, because if I give any indication of that's right, they become dependent on that. And they don't learn to just trust themselves in being like,
Little
I
tiny
know the right
dopamine
answer.
hits.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I'm guilty of this because I want the kid to get the right answer, right? And I think that's what you were talking about is like the student is trained to be a student, which is get the right answer no matter what. And even if that means like, let me just see whether my teacher is approving of what I'm doing, because that's an easy way to make sure I'm doing it right. So you've like blown my mind on this. I'm like, wow, okay, wow. Yeah, we need, and this is why standardized testing is fucking garbage, because again, we're just telling students get the right answer no matter what. We're not teaching them the process.
Yep. And that's another thing that like this process doesn't really work well with.
Yeah,
is
no, it's
that
probably awful for standardized
you're-
tests.
if you're teaching them this particular like cultural shift, then they're not really getting the content as quickly. And so like we didn't get into the 4th unit in my Calc 1 class. And so that's like, I mean, we got to like, integration.
Sure.
But I had to like flip everything and be like, all right, look, for the last few days of class, we're just going to blow through these sections because we need to
We
learn
have to
how
cover it.
certain
Yeah,
things
exactly.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I ended up like rewriting a final. I ended up doing all sorts of stuff to make sure that like, this particular question, which granted is useful, but at the same time, like it's kind of mean to put that on a final exam.
Yeah. Especially when you haven't really
You know what
covered
I'm
it as
talking
much.
about.
Yeah, I know.
This
Yeah.
particular question.
It's
No,
sadistic.
not even just my class. It
Yeah.
was kind of mean to all of the classes to put this in.
Got you.
And I was like, all right, I'm taking that question out. I'm replacing it with something else that's
Yeah.
valuable.
Yeah.
And I rewrote all of our finals to align also with the book, which
Wow.
is you've got you have your objectives set up in like a basic, intermediate, advanced, where they're nested. So if you understand the advanced topic, I don't need to test you on anything
Sure, they're like checkpoints. It's like, oh, you've gotten to
within
this,
it.
cool. We're clear with everything underneath. Gotcha.
So like there were basic questions, there were intermediate questions, there were advanced questions. And I said, if you're doing these particular ones, then you don't need to do the ones that are dependent on it. Or
Right. You already know the prereqs. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
You don't need
you don't
to
have
do
to do the
you don't
loaders.
need to do the prerequisites. You could just do the most advanced ones.
Yeah,
that you
I do that
understand.
too. Yeah, I'll give a student like what I think is like the most advanced thing, and I'm like, cool, you get it, awesome, moving on. If they don't get it, I'm like, all right, now we got to step it down and see like what prereqs you don't get. Yeah.
Yeah. So I encouraged everybody, like, if you think you know what you're doing, start with the intermediate questions and then go up or down from there. Unless
like
you
that.
super know what you're doing, in which case go up, or you super
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, in which
They
case go
down. Wow, I'm
So
gonna buy
it was
this
really
fucking
rough.
book, dude. This book is great. How many pages is it? Is it a thick boy? How much is it?
300.
Yeah, little thing. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I like it. I like
not too bad.
the psychology from it.
I-
Even is
Yeah.
great. What you've been talking about. I'm like, oh man, like I've kind of known these things, but I've never like put it so eloquently and into like a process like you're talking about.
I think the biggest deal that I had with this was it was all of those training sessions that I went to between EBL, between like flipping the classroom, between, like all of the different things that I learned over my 15 years of teaching at that point.
Yeah.
All of it consolidated into
Into one book.
And I was just
Oh my
like,
God.
if I were able to do all of these things at once, I definitely would.
Yeah.
It
But
was
it's a lot, I
just
guess.
so much work. Yeah, it was so much work, and I completely burned myself out on this.
It's a lot, dude. Yeah.
It's great, but I would also follow Lily Dahl's advice if you're gonna do any of it, and that's like start with the first toolkit at the top there.
Cool. Start with the most important
if you're
thing, and then if you're comfortable with it, start going more advanced stuff.
If you're a in-service teacher, right?
Sure.
Start with the thing at the top. And yes, it is mostly K through 12, but it can definitely be applied to post-secondary.
Sure.
So.
Wow. Oh, this is cool. All right, cool. Let me make sure we get through the kids' questions. I got to go in like a half hour here. So I know I love these discussions, though. This is really cool. I'm glad we got into this. This is really awesome. Let me see. Okay, Tacos Cat said, "Did you teach any people that went on to be discovered? I guess like be discovered or to help with something very big and helpful? Oh, do you have any celebrity students?"
So not that I'm aware of. Yeah. I have not come across any names anywhere, but that doesn't mean that nobody.
Do you still keep in touch? Do you still hear from any of your students?
A few. So I've got like 5 or 6 who like know me on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of poke around their profiles every so often to be like, hey, what's this person doing?
Hey, what's the guy up to? Yeah.
Yeah, they're mostly from the honors section that I help teach. So we did like an honors seminar.
Yeah.
Which was once a week for hour and a half, whatever. And we would talk about how to apply for scholarships, in their first year. It was like, how do you apply for scholarships? What sorts of things should you be getting involved with?
Yeah.
How do you actually do science? Because not all of them know, like, how you actually do science.
Yeah, what's the scientific method? Like,
like they kind of understand the scientific method because they've been in enough science classes at this point.
It's indoctrinated.
And they're interested in it. So, they do it. But it's contrary to popular belief. It is not just going over the exact same stuff that they have done before. You do not titrate NaOH and HCl in chemistry.
No. It's a cool exercise, but Jesse, that's not how we cook, man.
Oh man. I need
a lot
to
of
watch
practice.
that series.
You haven't watched Breaking Bad?
No, I didn't have the right stuff.
It's great. It's great.
I
got into it late.
Time, really.
Yeah, I didn't have the time, and then COVID happened, so I watched a bunch of. Nah, AMC, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
You can find it.
So now I don't have whatever it is that I need to actually watch that.
Yeah.
Now that we've splintered into all the streaming services.
Yeah.
But what is it that you do really for science, and I had one student who purportedly was working on a project to simulate a quantum computer
Oh,
on classical computers,
that's
which I
cool.
was like, if you could actually do that, I
Yeah.
think you probably want to talk to a patent lawyer
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, you want to get some money
Um,
out of this.
and she was like, I've already had several people contact me about potentially like signing over documents, and I'm like, no, don't get a lawyer.
Go get a lawyer, dude. These people want to take advantage of you, man.
Exactly, they just want it for themselves
Yeah, for
essentially is
cash,
what's
yeah.
happening.
Oh man. Oh, that's cool.
But we have had. Uh, so I also worked on a um, research journal
Okay.
at our institution where I was on the editorial staff.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. That's cool. I
This
like that.
was
It's
a
a
3D
violin, yeah?
printed violin.
Yeah, violin.
Yeah,
Very cool.
3D printed. And this guy made his own 3D printed violin first just to see if it was possible.
Sure.
And then,
I wonder how it sounds.
like,
Being like
if we
PVC
alter
plastic.
stuff, can we alter like the
The
different
tone, the
harmonics and things
timbre.
like that? Like,
Yeah.
what does it do? And he did a beautiful job
Very
at
cool.
like doing actual science for this.
That's very
And
cool.
he was probably one of our probably one of the I want to say third or fourth groups of students to come through.
Mm-hmm.
That I was involved in passing through this course. Typically, students are at the community college for 2 years. I
Sure.
think he was
Then they
there
transfer
for two
somewhere.
and a half, maybe three,
Uh-huh.
just because he was taking it a little slower. But he did that research in his last year,
That's
and
very cool.
he
To do
was
that
well.
where did he do that? Sorry, where did he do that research at?
It was at our community college.
Oh, at the community college. Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
I think I don't
So we
know
had
if
a
community
3D.
colleges usually have like research stuff like that, but that's dope.
So we have that was a big push of our new dean.
Okay, good. Like we're not just
He
a
wanted
money maker for intro courses. Like we're actually trying to like do some science here.
essentially.
That's cool. I'm down with that. That's dope.
So the dean of mathematics, right, was exactly talking with the upper echelons of administration and being like, look,
Yeah.
I know that you guys think that we're just like the hard class that everyone has to pass or whatever.
Sure.
But
we can
so
actually
we
do some
had
cool
had-
stuff here.
Yeah, we'd had a faculty group that like got together, twice a month and talked about like what kinds of new different methods are you using for teaching. And then at some point he was like, I really want to start this research journal. And
Yeah.
then he got the green light to do it, and then he became dean, or
Oh,
or
wow.
retired. So then he applied and got the job.
Nice.
And then as dean, he was like, I am pushing this forward. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
we went for that was 6 years. I'm sure they did another one this past year.
That's very cool.
I
It's
wouldn't
every
expect
year.
it.
Every year there was an article. Is that how it worked?
Every year there was a journal, which
Journal.
was a series of anywhere from like, I think
10.
we had like 12 articles.
Oh, very cool.
Something
It's
like
like a
that.
summary
And
of
they
the
were
year.
pretty in-depth.
Nice. It's almost
Yeah.
like Nature or something, or Popular Mechanics.
And a lot of the stuff we were like, okay, this is potentially going to take you 2 years. So like we called it the Journal for Research in Progress. So it wasn't,
Ah.
you didn't have to have a finished product at the
Okay.
end. You didn't have to have a polished paper. You could just say like, this is what we did this year, and this is what we're looking to do next year.
I think that's very cool because I mean that again illustrates the importance more of the process, right? I think that's kind of a theme of this episode today. It's been like, right? It's not all about the results. It's not about did you get the right answer, did you make the discovery. It's about like the process along the way. And I like that this journal that you're talking about, kind of exemplifies that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's move to the next question real quick. Let's see. This was what was this? Nick's. I think you talked about how you would maybe answer this one. I think basically he's saying, if you could go back in time, is there something you would change? Like, what would you do more? Would you have maybe? So for me, I'd be asking you, would you have taken that machine learning job in 2010?
So, like, if I could retain the experience of having done this one, then yes, probably, because I would
Yes.
want to get the experience of the other one. But
Right.
at the same time, like, would I then want to change what I've done? Like, start essentially with a
Do I have to do all
15-year
the other stuff?
experience?
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Start
yeah,
with
yeah.
15 years of experience in the new teaching job, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to play that game.
Yeah.
And you're probably asking the exact right person, Dark Aspect, because, like, all of my popular media, being video games, occasional comic books, not really, but, um, all of my fiction, not all, but a bunch of my fiction that's my favorite stuff, video games, movies, like, everything has, like, my favorite trope is time travel.
Ooh, okay.
And I
Cool.
know that sometimes it's absolute BS and they're
Right.
just, shoehorning something in because they're like, it's science fiction, so we'll do time travel. Right? Or like Marvel doing time travel. Okay. Didn't quite work, but whatever. It'll
Yeah.
it'll iron
It's
out
just
in the end.
yeah, it's like what's that movie? Oh, what's up, Phobos? Good to see you, dude. Not maybe it is Tenet. Am I thinking of Tenet, the one where it's like has all like the timelines and everything's going like crazy? Or also Interstellar is kind of like
Loki.
that too. Loki? Yeah, there you go. That's another one. Yeah. Just yeah, the time
So
travel gets a
like
little nuts.
time travel is probably one of my favorite tropes. And I don't
Cool.
know if that's because I have regrets or I just like because I just like the physics. But
Yeah.
like if I had I gotten accepted to any one of my other colleges that
Sure.
I applied to, right? I quite probably would have gone to them.
Sure.
I went to the University of New Hampshire because I got denied from like every other school.
Sure.
And there were a few on that list that I had no business applying to. But
But you think about how your life would change. I had the same thing. I got waitlisted at MIT, and I didn't.
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna go to MIT anyways. My parents were like, "You're going to University of Texas. We're not spending 40 grand on like whatever."
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
think about like if I had gotten accepted and I had gone, how different my life today would be. Because I see how
Mhm.
the kids who went to MIT, like I see that fork in my life, what it would have been. I would have just
Yep.
gone hardcore nerd mode. Like I would have gone in, dude. I would have been marrying my like motherboard and like whatever. But I also don't have any regrets. I feel like life is all a journey of things, and so everything's an experience. And the failure is almost, as we were talking about, the failure is part of the process, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm actually glad I failed at some things. But you saying that like the college thing would have changed a lot, depending like where you went.
Yeah. So, my spouse originally went to the University of Dartmouth, and
Okay,
then was
Dartmouth,
like,
yeah.
"I don't like it here."
She's like,
It,
nope, not for
dude,
me.
nothing against the college necessarily, but
Sure,
just like for whatever reason, it
just
just did
doesn't feel
not work
right.
out. So
Doesn't feel right. Yeah.
she decided that she was going to go to the University of New Hampshire, take the
And that's how
rest of
y'all
the
met.
year. Yep.
See, this is the
take
serendipity.
Yep, take the rest of the year and just work on like her psychology degree that she would switch to. She was originally genetics, like way back when,
Ooh, oh wow.
and then decided to do psychology while she was at University of New Hampshire. Said, you know what, I don't really like this. Let's
Let's
switch
do
to
theater.
math.
Where the
And
theater
then,
comes in at some point.
yep, and it was like 2 years in, she wanted to do uh, the stagecraft class, and they were like,
Wow.
no, it's only available to majors.
So
So she
she
was like,
became a
fine,
theater
sign me up.
major.
Yep.
This is too funny.
So she completed all of her coursework in mathematics. She completed all the coursework within theater. She
Yeah.
did all of her gen eds. And they were like, you're only like 2 classes from a psychology minor. And she was
Yeah.
like, all right, let's do it. Let's do
Pick it
it.
up. Do it. Add it. Put it.
So,
Put it in the cart. Put it in the cart.
so it took her 5 years to do those three things.
Well, that's
Meanwhile,
insane though.
yeah, I barely got my 128th credit
Hmm.
from being on the tech crew of like a dance show, um, because of her. I will
Yeah.
say, um, I just needed like one extra credit because I did like I'd done a few weird things in my time, so we can talk about it on my stream sometime about
Oh
the
yeah.
individual little things. But like, I took a few electives, and I probably shouldn't have taken electives, but you know what? I had
I
a
like the
good
electives.
experience
Yeah,
overall.
I took some electives, dude. I took like ethnomusicology. I took some random ass classes, man. I took 3 years of Italian just because I could. I had a bunch of AP credits, and I was like, I'm not gonna graduate college early. That sucks, dude. Like, what? College is dope. I want to stay here forever. That's why I went to grad school. I was like, you never leave college if you just keep going to grad school, and people don't judge
Yep.
you because like, oh, he's working on his PhD.
How many years?
9. My PhD was 9 years. I will say like a good 3 or 4 of those were me just partying in Thailand or something, but it gave the illusion of like he's working on his PhD. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, well, so yeah, while she was doing that, I came to UNH like as intending it to be my safety school, and yay, it's the only one I got into. So
Yeah, we still went somewhere, yeah.
yeah,
And you met her there.
I was, yep. So it was our sophomore year. I was the RA in this particular hall.
Oh, it was a
and
power
she was
dynamic.
not really. She was the treasurer.
Oh, so maybe there's a power dynamic in the other way.
So no, I mean, like, you know, she's on hall council and I'm an
Okay.
RA, so
Okay.
it's like two different jobs, but we're sort of on equal-ish
Gotcha.
ground. I was dating somebody else at the time. That didn't
Yeah.
work out, but it took us a semester to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, that's short. Takes some people like 10 years.
We were dating for 3.5 years before that. So.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah. So it took us that particular semester to finally figure out like this is not working.
Yeah.
And I signed them out from their double that was down in the basement, which is, you know, somebody else's.
It's kind of sketch.
Somebody else's floor, up into a lofted triple that was up in our like top floor.
Oh wow.
So they had room enough to put 3 beds all up on stilts.
Okay.
And,
triple bunk.
like have desks underneath them and stuff like that. So it was
oh yeah.
Cool. But it was like one of the only places that was a natural triple. There were so many forced triples, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're just like, just make do, kids. You're gonna do it.
I mean, and these are doubles from the 1910s. Like
yeah, which is not a double. Yeah, it's at some point it becomes like a child like carriage or something, you know, or a pram. Nice. All right,
so,
let me go.
Anyway, yeah, we met that year and started dating toward the end of the semester, which apparently caused a big scandal in the housing department.
You were the talk of the town, dude. It's all the gossip.
We talked with a friend of ours who was an RA. Like in the next few years, she shadowed me, and then she was also my RA the next year. And she came down to visit us after we moved down to Maryland, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you guys were like." There were people talking all about you. I was like, what the hell?
What's so interesting?
Nobody even once talked to me about like, hey, just to let you know, this is a little sketchy. Like my hall director asked me how things were going, and I said, fine. And like that was the extent of the conversation. Like
just keep it at that.
Anyway.
Man. All right, let's go to the next question. Let's see.
I didn't know what the last personal bit was there, but
yeah, let's get through. Here, Amok says this: if you had the chance, would you pick something else other than teaching students for a living?
That's the question, right?
That's the question I ask myself every morning, dude. When I wake up, I'm like, should I pick something else?
It's what I love to do.
Yeah, so.
But like, I don't think that the way I would want to do it, I could actually get paid for it enough to support anything.
Yeah. It's the ikigai thing, right? It's like, what are you good at? What do you like to do? What you get paid for? Yeah, right. This is great.
But does
it pay the bills?
Like $50 every quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. The goal is, right, yeah, you want to be able to do this, you know, sustainably eventually. But yes, I get it. Yeah,
I gotta get my YouTube presence up. We'll deal with that sometime.
Yeah, YouTube's good. YouTube Shorts are good. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. These also help too, man. I think any sort of like podcast, any sort of like interactive thing when the audience is like being able to do stuff, it goes up eventually. But it is very much a long game. You gotta probably grind at it for years before anything.
So I've got 3 years.
You guys says I got 3 years, dude.
And then I have to get a real job again.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, like doing some of the neural network stuff would have been cool.
Yeah. You already had a coding
I think I
experience
would have
and stuff.
missed. I would have missed being in the classroom. So there's a good chance that I would have gone back to like adjuncting at some point
Mm-hmm.
and been like, I at least want to get in the classroom and have conversations with my colleagues and figure out what's new in education.
Yeah.
I probably need to pay
I
my
like-
dues for Amatic.
Yeah, no, I like all the teaching theory stuff. That stuff's really cool, man. I've been a fan of that. Let's see. Laz has a question too. Let's get his up. He answered his a little later. He says, "What do you believe is the most basic yet most important principle in teaching?" He says, "Differential equations or any other math topic you think about that a lot of lecturers, professors get wrong, teach, skip entirely, or just meh about." I think we talked about this a little bit. I'm going to say from talking with you, I think the most important is what you talked about, the memorizing just to get to the right answer and not learning.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's going to require a cultural shift to really understand what you need to understand about mathematics.
Right.
Is that if you're just constantly being like, I need to get the right answer, then you're missing the point. And like David Bessie said in his Twitter thread,
Yeah.
you know, I think the best way to think about this is that you're not playing or doing mathematics in order to get the answer. You should be doing this in order to build neuroplasticity.
I love that.
Like the whole point of us doing this is to just be able to do it more.
Yeah.
Be able to go out there and be like, I need to push the boundaries of my creativity, of my imagination, of
so that helps you know other
whatever.
things. Yeah, it's like when you lift weights, you don't be like, I need to lift 135 pounds so I can lift 135 pounds. Like, what? Like,
Right.
There's no point to that. You're doing that because of all the other added benefits that come with doing it. Oh, you got some weights with us? Let's see. We're going to do a little workout?
I owe somebody. I don't remember even who it was. Somebody redeemed some curls a while back. So I'm just
okay. Let's get some curls in. Yes, dude. I like that. I'm a fan of the hammer curls. The hammer curls are my favorite.
They're
these
easy.
Ones.
Anyway,
there you go.
Go for
nice.
it.
There you go. Fobo says you got to do some squats. 100 squats. Stop. No, dude.
Oh.
We'll be here all night, dude. Honestly, I feel like I kind of want to do this in my Discord. I have a fitness challenge. You've probably been poking around the Discord a bit, where I reward the students if they show me that they have 7,000 steps.
The fitness goals. Yep.
Yeah, the fitness goals. Yeah, but I'd like to start doing maybe streams with it. It's just I don't know how happy my gym would be with me like just taking a bunch of cameras in and just like putting mics up and stuff. This is where I need the warehouse. I need the warehouse. I need the money for the warehouse. And once I have the warehouse, I'd put a gym in. And I think it'd be cool to do like a group workout thing or whatnot for the kids. It'd be fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Get the heart going.
Get the
what
heart
also
going.
matters, right?
Yeah.
Zach
says perfect.
Yeah, the other way that another of our streamer friends puts it, right? Ian Stuckey.
Yes.
Says, take care of the creature you are. So.
Oh, I like that. And he talks. I love that he uses the word creature all the time. He always says like the mathematical creature is here. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
Eric, if you're in the chat, dude, I love when you say that, dude. It's pretty cool. Is he in here? Ian, or Ian's not in here. Okay. Anyways, yeah, take care of yourself.
$sign command on that one.
I can do that too, right? Is it $sign Ian? Ian Stuckey?
Ian Stuckey. Yep.
There we go. Yeah, there's Eric's Twitch and his Discord. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Okay, let me see. We probably have another. I got time for one or two more questions. Let's see. We've been going. Time has been flying by. You know, we've been on for almost 3 hours now.
That's awesome.
I love that, dude. That's how I know I'm having a good stream. When I just look at my clock, I'm like, oh fuck, I actually have things I had scheduled because I didn't expect this to go 3 hours, but it did. Let's see. What was? I think Cassie had one that I wanted him to, because. Oh, he says, when should I start preparing for the SAT math exam? Okay. Do you have opinions about the SAT?
For you, but
yeah, I don't know. Did
I
you?
Have many
I
opinions
hate
about the SAT.
I fucking hate the SAT, honestly. Like, and I hate that it's a huge moneymaker because people keep telling me like, you should go tutor for the SAT, and I feel like I'm complicit in murder if I do that. because I don't agree with the exam. I know I can charge $300 an hour for it, but I hate that exam. I don't want to be complicit with it.
Yeah, College Board does a lot of
sketchy shit.
Questionable,
they're
things just
bad.
because, hey, we can make money doing this, and we've made we've made ourselves useful, and then like forced other people to use our services.
Yeah, to depend on us.
So
like
it just does not sit right with me.
They're like a drug dealer. I'll say it. Hot take. College Board is a drug dealer. I applied for a job for them actually a couple weeks ago because they had an opening for AP Physics 1. They're like, oh, we need an AP Physics 1 like coordinator or something. I was like, fine, dude. I do AP Physics 1. What's up?
Yeah.
I just got the boilerplate like, no, you don't qualify or something. Like, whatever. Fuck y'all. Again, I'd be complicit with murder. Like I can't join these evil people.
I don't remember who does Praxis. That was another one.
Praxis, yeah.
That was fun.
Cass, if you're asked about when to study, you had the praxis. What was they? Were they the state tests? Were they praxis? I gotta look these up. Praxis test. Praxis.
Praxis.
Oh no, we did not have these. Oh, but fuck ETS too. I don't like ETS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they, so we had to take the Praxis 1 for content and general.
So this is to become a teacher. You have to take these tests.
Yes, in public school.
Oh man. Yeah, this is the whole thing keeping me out of like getting a teaching degree, getting a teaching certificate, doing like I just don't want to be a part of this stuff. I hate this stuff. I feel like it's wrong.
And then we had to take Praxis 2 on Praxis 1 was just like English and math. So it was your basic SAT kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then your Praxis 2 was in your content area. You had to take a content exam and also a pedagogy exam.
Okay.
So overall, I had to take 3 days out of my time. To take each of those exams.
And you probably had to pay for the exams too, right? They're not free.
Yeah. It was like $75 each.
Oh, ugh.
Which like isn't terrible when you're a past graduate and whatever.
Yeah.
And like I'm intending to become an in-service teacher, so like it's a small amount of inconvenience in terms of cash. It's probably more now, like 100.
Yeah, it's probably also the time though, right? The amount of time you spend on this stuff, dude. It sucks, dude.
It was Saturdays. It was like 8 in the morning, half an hour away.
Was it on the other side of the lake?
No, fortunately, it was in like PG County, so closer to DC.
Okay. And how long did it take you? Because my dad did this, and I think it took him like 3 years. No, I'm saying just the whole teaching certificate thing. Like
I never got it actually.
Oh, you never did? Okay.
So I was working at the school for a quarter.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna do the Praxis exams. We're gonna do all this. So I did all 3 of them, and like eventually that was fine. And then I was applying to Howard County for a full-time position. And so I had like my portfolio was, 90% complete or something like that.
Sure.
And I needed a year of teaching somewhere. And I was like, cool.
Yeah, this is always the hours, the required hours thing, where you're just supposed to just drop everything and just go do this.
Yeah. So in theory, I would have done this in my 5th year master's. So like my program at UNH had a 1-year master's where you do an entire year in service, and also you take night classes. And it was that was it. It was just 1 year.
Yeah. Okay.
But I decided to move to Maryland instead. And
like, peace.
Yeah, pretty much. When I got down here, it was like, okay, well, you still need to do this in-service thing, and I was like, cool. So I worked in Baltimore County, which was up around this corner of Baltimore. Not the greatest place, but it worked.
Yeah.
It was a little rough. Almost got into a fight on the last day, but that's another story.
It's like, let's get ready to rumble.
I was dressed in a polo shirt and khakis, and I did not have a beard, and I had a lot more hair. I was 24.
Wow.
And
I can see it.
And I looked To some people, I looked like a student, including this one student who decided that nobody was going to get in the way of him stealing some other kid's phone.
Oh my
So
god. But you're like,
I
oh,
tried to
so you
break up.
came. Yeah.
I tried to break up a fight because I'm smart.
Yeah. You're like, I insert myself. I am justice.
And he like cocked his arm back and said, "Don't you fucking touch me!" And I was like,
He's like,
don't hit the kids! Don't hit the kids!"
don't hit the kids. It's a felony. I can't do it. They're minors.
So I still got like in between the two of them, and I was like, "Oh no! If I turn my back on this kid who's currently on the ground, I could get my ass whooped."
Yeah, we don't.
And
do
like I had to yell for like multiple teachers to come over.
dude, where's the fucking security, dude? Like, what? You guys don't have police or anything?
Downstairs.
Yeah.
They were at the door because like everybody's about to leave, right?
Sure.
It's like 2 minutes before the end of all school. And my co-teacher in the classroom, who was a special education,
Sure.
Yeah, that was her.
Who was probably also like dealt with some shit. Like if you're teaching special ed, you gotta kind of know how to rumble because some of those kids will just start rumbling.
Her students not so much.
Okay, good. No.
And when she co-taught with me, these were Algebra 1 students, and they had typically they were autism spectrum.
Oh, okay.
They had
so not Down syndrome, disorders. Just autism.
Generally not. So most of them like have the ability to do the algebra.
Sure.
It's just that the behavioral whatever and the stuff that they need for classroom behaviors isn't quite up to snuff.
Yeah, they don't have the social skills exactly there.
So we had the two of us together.
Okay.
Where she was learning to teach math and I was learning to teach a diverse group of students.
Okay.
And it was just a really cool experience overall. But she had her desk in my room, which was aside from that one period, like the rest of the room was just me. She was off doing her stuff elsewhere.
Okay.
But this was like her home base.
Yeah.
So she heard me yelling and came sprinting down the hallway and like dove on this one kid to make sure that he wasn't going to get hit anymore.
Oh wow.
And
that's a very motherly instinctive like response to just be like no.
So this other kid sees that the tide's turning against him. There are like two more teachers coming down the hallway.
He is losing it.
I'm out.
Peace. I'm out.
So he goes sprinting down the stairs, and we're just like, does anybody know who that was? And like the other teacher's like, yeah, I know who that is. Don't worry
we know.
about
Yeah.
We get this other kid off the ground, and I look at him and I go, oh no, this is like the kid from this class that I subbed for once. Who is the sweetest, most gentle, like soft-spoken. And I was like, I just watched this kid get his ass beat into the ground. And like, I did not stop it. And so like, I had this huge existential.
You're like no, I failed my child. Look what I did to my boy. I failed my boy.
So I was this was terrible. I gave police report and all this stuff, but it's like, do you think that this kid might have started it? And I'm like, no.
Like, no. This kid's an innocent angel. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it came out that basically the other kid told him to just give him his phone because he was like doing something, texting his mom or whatever.
Sure.
And he was just like, no, and put it away. And then like, he just started beating on him. And he tried to make it upstairs to where we all were, like the teachers. And he had made it to the corner where they had this like kind of rounded, the tile walls from the 1980s.
Yeah.
So like they've got the big cinder block walls, but on the corner there's this nice rounded tile. So his friend, who's like yay big, was trying to pull him in toward us. The other kid was on the other side trying to pull him back into the stairwell.
This is like a tug of war, but like with humans, dude. What?
Yeah. It was rough. So anyway, that was my last day there, and
you're like public teaching, maybe not for me.
Yeah.
Not
my my department chair at the end of this was like, nothing to do with this particular fight or anything, but she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna probably go with somebody else next year." And I was like, "I don't want to work here either." Like,
Yeah,
are you
like
kidding me?
I'm glad we had this
What just happened
experience.
here?
Yeah, this experience just taught me
What
all I
just
needed to
happened?
know. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like what?
So I got my letter that said I worked here for a year. I went back to Howard County, and they were like, "Okay, cool. Now your references are out of date." So, and I was like, "Fuck it,
No,
I'm done."
no, dude. It's like, I'm not getting references. I'm not doing
So
it.
I went to. So this is when I went to the community college where I took
Sure,
a bunch of education classes to fulfill the requirement for teaching. The certificate.
sure.
And I talked with the department chair and like three other ladies who were the heads of their like courses,
Uh-huh.
the coordinators for the developmental courses. And I did a teaching demo for them, which was the exact same thing that I had done in this other school, which got
Just
me,
minus the brawl.
I mean, not fired, but just
Not
let go
accepted.
because maybe they wanted to go in a different direction. They
Yeah,
wanted me
we've
to,
decided to pursue other avenues. I love this HR speak,
yeah.
dude. It's just like we've decided
So
to go somewhere
they
else.
were just like, look, your teaching isn't really all that super engaging. I'm like, I don't do whatever you're doing. Like they just gave me a bunch of manipulatives and were like, here, work something out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I go up here and I'm excited about what I'm showing on the board, which is not engaging to these particular students,
Right.
especially. But like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like,
Yeah, I know. We're all just figuring
so
out. And this is the nice thing about community college, right? Is that first of
yeah,
all, you're dealing with adults, right? So if
yes.
they lay their hands on you, you can also lay your hands back on them because you're like, we're both adults here, man,
Well,
dude. Like, but also like they tend to be a little bit more well behaved, and then also
yeah.
there's not all this red tape. You don't need the teaching certificate. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yep.
understand. I've looked at it too myself. I've been like, maybe I should go into community college teaching because
So I was doing the exact same teaching demo, and they were like, "This is wonderful. When can you start?" I was like,
oh nice,
"All right,
yeah.
I feel vindicated now.
That's your
Thank you
door.
so
That's
much."
your door. Yeah, you're like, yeah, not every, if the door doesn't open, it's not your door. That was your door. You're like, this is my door. Because the other
Yep.
door with human fucking whatever tug of war is not mine. That's not mine.
Oh my god.
Oh, nice. All right, I got to maybe
I
wrap things
was I
up.
was so glad to not have to drive a half an hour
Yeah, no,
through the
and
Baltimore
exactly.
tunnels
Yeah,
every single day.
it's
Yeah,
it's
that
it's
was.
divine. Everything happens for a reason is what I say. Simplex. Yeah, nice. Okay. Before we wrap things up, okay, so what I also do as a part of this stream, in order to get the students to ask questions, is I have you pick which one you thought was the best question. We didn't get through everyone's. Well, we went through everyone's, but some people submitted like a lot of questions, and so I tried to pick the best ones from them.
Yep.
So here I have a document here that has all of them. Or here I can actually. Well, we can go through them, I guess.
We'll just pop on the link here, right?
Here, let me give you a link for this. One sec. How do I share things again? Google. Oh, there it is. Share. Anyone with link can view. Copy link. Here, I'm gonna do it right there. What's up, Hikaru? Good to see you, dude. There. You should see it in the Discord chat. You should see the link. So yeah, we had a lot of good questions. Equity asked a lot of, and I always encourage the students to ask more questions than less questions. But I tell them, put your best question first, because if we run out of time, I want to make sure I at least get to what you think is the best. And then if I have more time, but we had a lot. We had a lot of cool discussion today. So you can pick which single one you think's the best, or you could pick a couple. If you say like, oh, I liked these two or these three, and then we can leave it to the fate of the spinner wheel to see. Who wins?
So I have different reasons for picking, right?
Ooh,
So
you can tell the reasons too. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite overall questions would be like, because of my sci-fi stuff, how would you do things differently?
Yes. Okay. Cool. The how would you do things differently was. Let me
Dark
see who that
aspect.
was. Is that Dark Aspect? Yep. Cool. Yep. That
Yep.
was Nick. Yep.
we didn't actually do equities here. Why did you get a degree in mathematics? And
Yeah, we didn't get to that one.
What
Yeah.
are some of the paraphernalia you've collected?
We went kind of we kind of went over like why you went into mathematics, why you
Yeah.
got the degree. Yeah. We didn't go to the paraphernalia.
I did actually collect.
Did you collect some? You want to show some paraphernalia you collected? Oh, slide rules.
Collected slide rules. Yep.
Oh.
I know how to use exactly like 2 functions on them, but
that's super dope.
Uh,
That's like a vernier system, right? Almost. It's like vernier calipers. Like you line up the line with this and line with this.
Calipers as well.
Calipers are cool.
Yeah, it's if you line up the.
Uh-oh. almost had a bad time.
Yeah, the like entire stack of books here almost.
Uh-oh.
Went right up
this is when the bad things start to happen.
One thing, I moved one thing. Yeah, so I have a set of vernier calipers.
Yes,
Actually,
those are cool. Wow. Yeah, not digital.
So I have several different slide rules that I've collected over the years, and one of them's like just a basic. It is a piece of wood that you.
It's like a fucking
slide these
abacus.
things through each other. I do have several.
Abaci
/ soroban.
Soroban. Okay.
The soroban is the Japanese version, which has 4 at the bottom and 1 up at the top. The Chinese abacus has 5 at the bottom and 2 at the top. Because
I wonder if kids even still play with
allows
these
you
things.
to carry.
Yeah.
The abacus allows you to carry, whereas the soroban requires you to do the mental calculation to trade.
Okay, very cool.
So it's kind of interesting. I think I might prefer the soroban just for the like mental requirement. Yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Let's go calculators.
And the teacher in me really likes Lesioma's last question there.
Last Joma's question? Yeah.
What do you think the most basic yet most important principle is going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Okay. So Last Joma wins, yeah?
Yeah, because that's like the educational question.
That's the best one. We love it.
Probably the distilled.
Nice. It distilled, honestly, the whole, I would say, the theme of this podcast episode, which I really appreciated it. Like, I learned a lot from you on this episode. I'll say it's very cool. I appreciate that. Like, I'm gonna go buy that book. That book to me made so many things click that I was like, oh. And especially when you said like your 10 or 15 years of teaching has been distilled into a 400-page textbook, that's an excellent resource. Just skip the 15 years.
The bit about how to make better like
interactive classroom stuff.
I have dog-eared this to shit.
Like, oh, dude. Yeah, when I get this book, dude, I'm going to ask you for what page numbers are your favorite, man.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, there's like there's 300 pages. I probably started marking every 5th, and I was like, oh man, this is
yeah, dude, I've done that. Where like you're highlighting, you're like, wait, I'm just highlighting the whole thing, man. Like it's all gold.
Yeah, there was this one here, Chasing Rabbits by Sunil Singh, which has that many tabs in it because
oh wow, that's a lot.
Again, literally almost everything was resonating.
You're literally
like,
chasing rabbits. Literally chasing rabbits. Okay. Cool. All right, congrats to Laz Joma. And yeah, let's end it out. All right, let's give a big thank you to ObiWanPez and Simplex Pachinko for taking the time out of your day, dude. Yeah, thanks for the questions and everything. They were super great. Again, please.
I mean, look,
yeah, go on.
I would have been doing this anyway. I would have been just playing games on my own. So having the 3 hours to talk shop instead of just talking to a chat window. Whereas I very much appreciate my viewers coming in.
Yeah. But you can get more ideas out. It's awesome. Yeah, we can go down like more in-depth rabbit holes, and we're not waiting for a 20-second Twitch delay between the chat. I hope to do more of these. I have to go to Burning Man in the next like week or two, but when I get back, gonna go back to really reaching out because yeah, I appreciate you were one of the first people to fill out the form when I put out the request for for viewers, for guests, and so yeah, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. And yeah, the stuff you said is gonna be super useful for the students. Again, it's already been super useful for me. I thank you for making a lot of things come to light here for myself.
No worries. And if you have any questions on the book, I was like the point of contact at my school to try and distill more about this, because the other 2 people who were in our like reading group for this book, who were running it, were like chapters behind me. So,
oh wow! So but you were the point man. You were the point man.
Yeah. By the time I got to, by the time we started, they were probably half and 2/3 the way through. And I was implementing things.
Oh wow! So you're like,
and,
I'm already doing it real.
They had not done anything in terms of actually putting it forward.
Yeah.
In their classes, and I had a year and a month of experience.
Like, I've had some experience. I've had some experience. No, that's great. No, I'll definitely reach out to you. And yeah, again, if any of y'all want to, or you should, follow and Simplex here. What's your chat? Well, there's the Chad's command, not
Obi.
Chad. It's Obi. Okay, good. It's Obi. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, $.
There you go. That is Obi's Twitch.
I mean, it's only my Twitch link, so.
Yeah, it's only the Twitch link, but yeah, definitely, follow his Twitch. He's doing a course this whole summer on differential equations, which, hop on by, learn some stuff. Even if, it looks like gibberish to you, come on, you will, if you just come on by and just start absorbing stuff, you'll start slowly absorbing it. EG3000 says, cool guy. He's a cool guy. AG3000. Oh, he's silver. Oh, nice. Okay. You're my counterpart, dude. AG3000. Okay, awesome. All right. So our next stream is going to be on Monday. That'll be 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be wrapping up some of the SAT challenge stuff and then also answering any questions you guys might have about math or science. Again, yeah, if you have any questions for Obi and stuff, he's in our Discord as well. You can send him a DM, join our Discord, or you can send it to me and I'll make sure that he gets it. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's go raid somebody else. Who we gonna raid? W Stream. Thank you, Hikaru. Yeah, the kids liked it. Nice. Okay. Looks like Globus the Elder. This guy's watching science videos. This guy looks kind of cool. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you again, Obi, for coming on and talking with us. And we will see you guys again on Monday. All right.
Thank you, Gold.
Peace out, guys.
Mine is gifting one out. 11 raiders from Actual Education.
Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Resistance is futile.
Welcome in, folks. Hi, Actual Education. I am unfamiliar with your vibes, so just give me one moment here. I'm Globusy. Thank you. Thank you. That's actually my voice layered like 5 times through Audacity. Lazjoma or Lazhoma, however I'm pronouncing that. Welcome in. Free tutoring math sci stuff for high school kids as well as AMA interviews. Cool. That is Actual Education. Welcome in. Yeah, y'all. Sargento. Cool.